Baseball fans, BetMGM is giving you the chance to win a prize every day during the baseball season. Step into the batter's box for BetMGM Swing for the Fences free-to-play game. Pick any area of the strike zone and take your best swing. If you get a single, double, triple, or home run, you'll receive a prize. Smash a home run to collect a bonus bet on us. Just log into your BetMGM Sports account to get started. Then visit your promotion section to access the Swing for the Fences free-to-play game. You'll score a prize if you hit a single, double, triple, or home run. There's nothing more exciting than going yard, so swing for the fences with the king of sportsbooks. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only, Iowa only. Existing customer offers, subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary depending on market and expire 24 hours from issuance. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Primary Election Day is Tuesday, June 4th. Now is the time to make a plan. Whether you plan to vote absentee by mail, in person at your county auditor's office before Election Day, or at your polling place on June 4th, it's important you take steps now to make your plan at voterready.iowa.gov. Remember, Election Day is Tuesday, June 4th. Find more info at voterready.iowa.gov. This message is presented by the Iowa Secretary of State.
The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
Kosei Huja, listening, keeping strong style.
Yo, this is Rich Latta from One Nation Radio. This is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network. We present to you the Ace of Podcasts, keeping it strong style. Let's go. It's the Ace of Podcasts, keeping it strong style. Covering New Japan, they ready to hold it down. Jeremy Donovan and the young boy Josh come and hit a job out in Barrio the Frogs. From the Tokyo Dome over to the G1. Social Suplex is the network where we can get it done. I'ma chill and let them have it, cause this is just an intro. Keeping the strong style, 6 stars from the get-go, boy. Yeah, from Tampa Bay to the Tokyo Dome, this is Keeping It Strong Style with your hosts, Jeremy Donovan and the young boy Joshua Smith. And thank you for listening.
Welcome to Keeping It Strong Style, the ASA podcast on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Jeremy Donovan here with the young boy Josh Smith. On today's show, we'll review nights 11 through 13 of Best of the Super Junior, preview Dominion, and cover all latest news in the world of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Please support our show by subscribing and following the Social Suplex Podcast Network, or Keeping a Strong Style on the podcast app of your choice, and leaving a rating and review. You can also get all the network's podcasts over at socialsuplex.com. Check out our Pro Wrestling Tees store, prowrestlingtees.com/Social Suplex. That's where you can get your official Keeping It Strong Style t-shirt. If you enjoy this podcast, please consider making a one-time or monthly donation by visiting socialsuplex.com/donate and click on the donate button under the Keeping It Strong Style logo. And we are streaming live right now on patreon.com/KI Strong Style for IWGP subscribers. You can access the live stream, ad-free audio, and bonus content by subscribing at patreon.com/KI Strong Style. Young boy, how you doing, man?
I've been better. So we are about 12 minutes behind schedule, and, you know, it's my fault, as it always is. Having some technical snafus. I think I might need to dip into the Keeping It Strong Style show reserves to get a new camera, because this one just keeps fucking up on me. I don't know what is going on with that.
Botchamania.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely we are live. Excited to be here. We got a lot to talk about. If you guys are listening, we want you to be part of the show. Come, experience it live. Jeremy, I was thinking, I don't know how we could do this, but like maybe we should do like one a month or one every other month, where it's like free to the public or free to the or available to the $5 subscribers, like one or the other, to where people can experience what it's like to see the show live, be in here, get the chat going, and then we give them a taste, and then we take it away.
I was actually thinking the same thing, because I thought about it, because Dave and Garrett did a free show on their like live YouTube version for people this past Friday. So I was like, you know what, maybe we should, I think maybe Dominion Review would actually probably be a good time to throw it out there, have people join in on the chat, watch it live next week for the Dominion Review, and give them a little taste of what the IWGP subscribers are getting.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure what was needed or if that was possible. So I'll leave all of the technical aspects of that up to you, since you kind of man the ship as far as that goes. But a couple things I want to talk about before we jump into the show. One, I now have a CPAP. Yeah. So turns out I am plagued with sleep apnea. Not a serious bout of it. They called it mild, but now I got to wear a gig on my face that keeps me from dying. So that's tight.
It's funny. My wife thinks that I might have sleep apnea, so I might be on that CPAP train too.
Well, I'll say this. I haven't, like, one thing, the gimmick is messing up my face, so I might need to adjust and get a different mask, because it's the shit is literally like tearing my face apart. But as far as the quality of the sleep, I haven't gotten huge health benefits yet, but it says that I'm having no episodes in the nighttime, and I'm feeling moderately better. The other nice thing is recently when we were in Chicago, I always sleep with a sleep mask, and ever since I got this weighted gel sleep mask, and ever since I got that shit, it has changed the game. Unfortunately, I left that behind at the Verbo we were at. Friend of the show, Dan Coffin, he was kind enough to pick one up for me, but I hadn't gotten a chance to see him because he's on the other side of the county. So this past weekend, I was able to swing by the house, got that. So now I've got the gimmick on my eyes, the gimmick on my face. I look like a mutant, but I'm dead to the world asleep. And the main reason I feel like I want to tell everybody is just because I feel like if I sleep better, I can be more attentive when I watch New Japan.
Well, there you go.
Oftentimes, like, I'm trying to like fit it into my schedule, and then I'm like getting like literally drowsy. And it's not because the action's bad, but I'm just so tired. So hopefully this improves the show.
This man out here wearing a CPAP for you people, you listeners, to make sure that you get the best analysis on this wrestling.
Yeah, we do have the best analysis, though. The other thing, you are a subscriber to Netflix, aren't you, Jeremy?
I just canceled it.
Bro, get it back. All right. Why would you cancel Netflix?
Dude, I'm on and off of it. If there's not a bunch of stuff that's on there that I'm watching, cancel it, get something else in the meantime.
Well, I'll tell you, there's two things on there that are worth checking out. Godzilla -1, which is incredible, 5 stars, is now on Netflix. And my favorite anime of all time, Hajime no Ippo, is also on Netflix, all 76 episodes.
Nice. Well, yeah, maybe I have to give that a run. Lately, I've been watching X-Men 97 on Disney Plus. Also,
how are you still watching? I finished that in a weekend. I finished that in 2 days.
I got like 2 more episodes left. I finished.
Oh, bro. How crazy is episode 5?
Dude, yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah.
And I just finished Andor this weekend.
What's that?
That's
a Disney Plus gimmick?
Yeah, it's Star Wars gimmick.
I don't fuck with that shit.
And also, we started watching Ahsoka, another Star Wars gimmick.
Nah, bro, they're not roping me in with that shit. All right. You can't just buy a property and decide that all of the canon is no longer canon and then just start building a bunch of fucking shows. Like, no.
Well, right? Ahsoka's based off the Clone Wars. That was like before Disney bought them.
Yeah, but that's one of the only properties that they decided to keep canon. Everything else got roped into like what's called like the lore or like mythology. Like, it's not real. Like, they basically said like it's extended universe shit that never actually happened.
Insert Gabe Kidd clip there. It's fake. It's fake. How is that real?
You can't just undo all the shit after it happened. I played those games. I read those fucking books. Like, what are you trying to tell me? It didn't happen. I experienced it. It happened. I lived it. Fuck them.
All right. Did you have another point?
I made all my points.
All right.
We did get a really kind comment on Twitter today. I don't know if you saw it.
I did see it. There was somebody that put us over, put us and We Work Stiff over as far as two of their favorite wrestling podcasts.
Yeah, let me pull that up, give them a shout out. So at the Chase Danger says, I don't have time to listen to a ton of wrestling podcasts. Then there are some I avoid because I'm behind and don't want to get spoiled. But the scant time I do have, We Work Stiff and Keeping It Strong Style are two of the best for my tastes. If you're into New Japan, give them a shot. And then they continue to follow up on that by saying, but only if you want adult sounding discussion with a good dose of entertaining banter instead of some other stuff that's out there, people trying to be edgy or talking about unfounded nonsense. I mean, the only criticism I'd have about this is putting us in the same conversation as We Work Stiff. Like, if you're going to put me over. Okay. Don't lump me in, be like, you know who my favorite wrestlers are? The Warrior and Hulk Hogan. No, you just put one of us over. That's it. Like, no, I'm just playing. But yeah, no, we really appreciate the kind words.
Yeah, and of course we love We Work Stiff. They do great stuff. Stiff Josh, he's a man. So check them out also. And yeah, so shout out to that listener who put us over on the X machine, Twitter machine, whatever it's called nowadays.
Put me over softly, brother.
Well, Josh, it is the first Monday of June, and
oh shit, we didn't talk about this.
We didn't talk about it, so we're gonna do it live here on the air. We're gonna talk about the May match of the month and wrestler of the month. So for new listeners, at the end of at the beginning of the following month, we always go back and award a match of the month and wrestler of the month. So normally we talk about it before here, but we're going to do it here on the air, kind of talk about what we think should be the match of the month, wrestler of the month. So I kind of had one match of the month in mind. I know there's a lot of great matches between Super Juniors and Resurgence.
For me, it really comes down to two matches, and I think I'm leaning the same way as you, but I think we're outliers. So, I mean, what you have down here is the main event of Resurgence between Jon Moxley and Shota Umino. However, I know that there were a lot of folks out there that preferred the match between, and I'm at the point where I don't remember where this happened, but when did Shingo and Gabe Kidd wrestle?
That was, yes.
That one was also kind of up there.
Yeah. So
I don't know what your feelings were on that. That's the only other one where I could point to and be like, maybe, but I know on Cage Match, the second one mentioned, the Don Taco match, that is rated higher. But for me personally, for whatever reason, I had Moxon and Umino rated higher personally. I thought it was the best match this month, but I'm weird.
Same. I have that rated higher than the Shingo Hanare match. I really like that Umino Mox match. I know a lot of people are lower on that match. I think it's close to like an 8 on Cage Match.
That's weird.
Big Dave,
I feel like it's got to be the evil shit, right?
I guess so, or maybe just people not happy with Moxley as champion.
Yeah, that could be it.
Big Dave went 4.75 on it. So
Howard.
So I mean, that was my highly rated match. It was your highly rated match. It's our show, so I think we should crown.
Fuck y'all. Bow.
Let's crown Jon Moxley versus Shota Umino for the May match of the month.
Now, as far as the wrestler of the month, for me, I know you've got a lot of different. I mean, obviously, Super Junior's been going on. We've had a busy schedule, so a lot of matches to sample from, and you've got a lot of people listed that I feel like, we all kind of agree have had standout months: Doki, Eagles, Hiromu, Desperado, Teton. But for me, I don't really think this is much of a discussion. I mean, it certainly could be if you wanted to just talk about the overall totality of quality in the tournament. But for me, there's just one real standout guy, and it's Desperado. I feel like Desperado has had the best matches all month. And just peaked higher than almost everybody else.
Yeah, Desperado has been awesome. I mean, he's been in a lot of the main events. He's had a majority of the great matches in the tournament. Also, you know, we're going to review it in a few minutes here, but he's going to be in the finals at Dominion in the main event. Pretty big deal.
Spoiler alert.
Well, if you're listening to this, I hope you're caught up. But yeah,
thanks for burying the lead.
Come on, we got pretty plugged in listeners at this point. They already know what's going on.
I mean, look at his month. The Hayata match, probably Hayata's best match. The TJP match, the Clark Connors match. Even the Kanemaru is probably the best Kanemaru match of the tournament. The Kevin Knight match, that's probably one of the lower performing ones, but Blake Christian was really, and even that one had the surprise upset. The Blake Christian match, like the Kosei Fujita, which is one of the best matches of the entire tournament. Like, if I was doing a list of the top 5 matches of the tournament, he's going to be in like 3 or 4 of those.
Yeah, easily.
And yeah, so for me, I feel like it's open and shut. I feel like El Desperado, just by merit of being in the most main events and having the best, I think he had the best matches. So,
all right, so there we go. Our May wrestler of the month, El Desperado. So now we're going to review the final A block night, final B block night, and then the semifinal show, which happened this morning from Cork and Hall. And then we'll talk about Dominion.
Well, let me ask you this. Did you watch all of today's show?
I did.
Okay, so I didn't. I got off at 5, had time to get dinner, do some cleaning, throw on the show, and I literally watched just the 2 finals matches. So I didn't see anything on the undercard. I know it's a big show because they did sell out Cork and Hall. So I assume there may have potentially been some noteworthy things occurring on the undercard, but I'm unspoiled. I haven't seen or read anything about anything underneath it.
Okay, yeah, there was a couple angle stuff that they did to set some stuff up for Dominion, so we'll point those out as we get to them. But first, let's start with the final A block night. So this was also in Cork and Hall, so it was May 30th. We had an attendance of 1,032, and we'll kind of go through the undercard here. There wasn't a lot on undercard here, and then we'll go into the tournament matches. So show open up, we had Dragon Daya and Ninja Mac. They defeated Kushida and Shoma Kato. Then we had Robbie Eagles and Zack Sabre Jr. defeating Doki and Taka Michinoku. Then
post-match in that one little noteworthy thing. Doki and Robbie Eagles got into jaw-jacking and then got in like a full-out brawl, and you started to see more of dark Robbie Eagles like emerge from under the nice veneer that he has on top of that shell, you know?
Yeah, and that was also they're facing off the following night in B block action there, and obviously Robbie being frustrated that he's already eliminated from the tournament, and so like you mentioned last week, yeah, the cracks are starting to break there, and we're seeing that PWA Robbie Eagles come out. So following that, we had Hiromu, Shingo, and Naito defeating Drilla, Gato, and Taiji Ishimori. And then we had the United Empire team of Callum Newman and Hanare defeating Sho and Yujiro Takahashi. And then that took us to the tournament matches. So again, this is the final A block night. First, we had Yoshinobu Kanemaru defeating Clark Connors by countout in 3 minutes and 20 seconds. So Kanemaru was already mathematically eliminated. Clark Connors was alive. He could have advanced had he won and other people lost further on, but Kanemaru got the better of him here, got the count out victory, played spoiler, and eliminated Clark Connors from the tournament.
Yeah, I found this to be pretty entertaining for what it was. It didn't overstay its welcome, obviously. Sub 5 minute match. They did quite a bit of brawling on the outside, up in the stands. Good attendance each night, which is, kind of expected because it is the semifinals and and the final block nights and everything like that, which is great. But the crowds not only were, numerous, but they also were loud and very invested in the tournament and what had been going on here. So every time they started to brawl up into the crowd, like the crowd really got up for it. But the main thing here is Clark Connors was controlling all of the action up in the stands, just dominating Kanemaru. And, keep in mind too, this is a quasi Bullet Club, House of Torture, War Dogs thing going on. And there was none of the like, too sweet me, bro. None of that existed. Like Clark Connors was just, putting a beat down on Kanemaru, left him up in the stand. He almost got counted out. And then right around the time they're at like the 15 mark, I think he tried to throw, what was it? A young lion?
Yeah, he did. He threw a young lion in Clark's way, which tripped him up.
Clark Connors tried to use the young lion first, and Kanemaru intercepted it and rebounded back with the same young lion and caught Clark Connors off guard, knocked him over. He rushed into the ring, and with just a few seconds, like Clark tries to get up, he slips, gets counted out, completely mathematically eliminated. Last week, I was totally on board with the idea that Clark Connors would win here, and then just by nature of the rest of the process be, eliminated. But they made it simple for us. They just got him out of there. And the one thing I think that is two things. One, we saw a situation all throughout the tournament where Clark Connors made small miscalculations, missteps, his, anger get the better of him. And in this case, he tried to play master heel with the top master heel, and it was his undoing. But from a booking standpoint, it's pretty clear that they really did see him in a much higher light this year than they did last year. They really protected him here. And instead of having him take like a fluke roll up or something like that, he just got the fluke count out, which was almost like a nothing loss. But, it's much better than him eating a pinfall or getting submitted or something like that. So in a certain sense, like you can see that the bookers, they're kind of protecting him here.
Yeah, I was thinking Kanemaru was going to win just because maybe since Show's out, you could throw Show and Kanemaru in that junior tag title picture. But clearly they protected it. Clark pretty strong here, so I don't know if they're actually going to be thrown in the mix or not. But yeah, great way to protect Clark as one half a tag champion, somebody who they've pushed pretty hard in this tournament and was very dominant throughout the tournament as well. And yeah, post-match, he pissed off that he got counted out. He spared the referee and just went on a rampage.
Yeah, and I mean, that was sort of the story of his tournament. I mean, we saw quite a bit of that last year, but it was even more ramped up this year in this year's tournament. And I don't know. I just feel like, and I've been saying this for a couple episodes now, I feel like him and Drilla are right on the cusp of being breakout guys in the junior division.
Yeah, definitely. They've done a great job pushing that team, and especially this tournament, that has been very violent, very brutal, very dominant in that in the tournament, and it's showing their tag team work as well. And yeah, I think that they're going to keep getting pushed, and they're a great kind of new solid face to have in that tag team division.
Absolutely.
So then following that, we had Bushi defeating Kevin Knight. Very similar point situation here. Bushi was mathematically eliminated going into the match. Kevin Knight had 8. Had he won, he would have gotten to 10 and would have potentially been able to advance, but was not the case here. Bushi worked on, one of the wheels of the jet, locked that Fable in, and got him to submit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much more to add beyond, the short, brief recap you just gave us. I mean, not much here to really unload. It was a match. It happened. Bushi's completely competent. We've been singing the praises of Kevin Knight all tournament long, but you could kind of see the writing on the wall that he was probably going to take a loss here. And like you said, got his leg clipped, got put in the Fable. He tapped out, and these guys end, I believe, at equal points, basically.
Yeah, both of them end 8-8. Tied up there 4-5. So then following that is where we got into the nitty gritty of some more people potentially being advancing or getting eliminated. So we had TJP defeating Teton 13 minutes and 21 seconds. So TJP with this win, he got to 10 points. And Teton was stuck at 10 with the loss, so TJP gets the tiebreaker, and Teton gets eliminated.
Yeah. And was this the Oswong match?
No, he used the Oswong, or wait, was it the Oswong match?
Was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, TJP brought back the Oswong. He had been teasing that in the backstage comments, saying things of the nature of, I guess I'm just recapping, but if I can't get it done, then he'll do it for me. Great foreshadowing there. Nothing, very little subtlety there. But I got to tell you, Jeremy, and I'm not 100% coming around on it, but the Oswong's working a little bit more for me now than it did when he first brought out. I'm not 100% sold on it because there are still some glaring logic gaps in the entirety of the gimmick itself. But the look has improved quite a bit, and we've kind of seen a progression of the Oswong presentation. Like the first mask he ever brought out at Wrestle Kingdom was just fucking atrocious, and then the variations that we've seen since then, they've gotten a little bit more palatable, but every time it's been pretty bad. This time, like seeing him in there with the mask, it kind of reminded me a bit of the Demon, like Finn Balor, but maybe even not so much the Demon, but maybe more so like when Finn Balor just used to wear the gimmicks for his big matches. Like there was no hocus pocus, there was no mystical element to it, but every now and again he'd have like Carnage makeup or Heath Ledger makeup or what have you. And it was just sort of like, I'm in a new mindset. I'm gearing up for the big match, and I want to bust out something cool from pop culture.
Yeah, more like the new Japan Fergal debit.
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's not too different from like Johnny Wrestling. Putting on Wolverine gear every time he fucking wrestles a takeover. So he did bring out the Oswong thing, and like, I don't know. I've got two ways of feeling about it, and I'm not 100% sold on either. But one, if you're gonna do this right, and you're gonna make this your big match gimmick, and keep in mind, yeah, Corkin's a big-ish platform. For all the other companies, it's their big show. For New Japan, it's like a B level show, but if you're going to bring it out, then I think you really need to up the production level if you're going to make it super special. Like you're only busting it out. Like part of the whole reason that people liked the Demon in Full Sail was because of the music and the him doing the pose and all that shit. Like, and that was like the cool part of it. And he's still just kind of coming out to the TJP music.
Well, it's a remix version of it. It's a little bit slowed down, no lyrics.
You need a little bit more gimmickry. And I know that I'm against the gimmickry, but if you're really going to lean into that, then you might want to go that way. Or the other way is there's no mysticism about it. There's no special gimmickry. It's just, some cool shit that you're doing that is just showing that the people that like you're in a more like focused mindset. It doesn't give you powers or anything like that, but like I thought the look of this Oswong, iteration was pretty cool looking. So like I can kind of quasi like start to buy into it, but like I don't know. He's still just wrestling the same. Like he's just TJP with a mask on, who he just sprays mist. But there's no high level presentation, and it's not super cool. It's kind of in this weird in between nebulous place. And I think you either need to make it super cool or you make it over the top pageantry, one or the other. And right now it's almost there, but it's, because before it was like spooky, and now it's starting to move away from that, which is probably good because I don't know how that can persist within the realm of like New Japan. It just, to me, doesn't work. But I kind of liked the imagery of like him with his mask wrestling like Teton. I thought it worked here a little bit.
Yeah, they've definitely kind of changed it up, and they got rid of like the claw hand, creepy long fingernails that he had, and they got rid of some of that stuff, and
the chain and the coffin, and and the fucking dress.
Yeah, they got rid of a lot of that stuff. But yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I kind of feel like I'd be fine, like you mentioned, if it was just like an intimidation factor, like my war paint, like this is
exactly
make or break. I'm about to be eliminated. Like I have to beat you, so I'm gonna, get myself psyched up. This is my special kind of, tribute to my tradition. This is my war paint. This is how we get in the vibe, in the Philippines. So this is my thing right here. But then when you start leaning into like, all right, well, it's another personality. He can't control it. It makes him spit mist, and then he starts like the first 2 minutes more aggressive, and then goes back to normal. And a commentary was trying to say like, oh well, it's both TJPs like fighting for control, like the public enemy's trying to like wrestle, and the Oswong is trying to like be fast paced and attack him, and
that sucks. He's not the dead man. The American badass is trying to come out and take control.
But like you said, if you're gonna do it, like you might as well lean into it, like lights out, do a special entrance, fog, smoke, wrestle the whole match completely differently.
But also not lame.
Yeah.
Like do it differently, but do it better differently.
Yeah, because and also you mentioned the logic gap. It's like, all right, you were down 0-4 at some point in this tournament. Why couldn't you make the call then to like rally up before you got to that 0-4 point?
Not only that, but then you brought out the Oswong, gets you over the hump. You beat Teton, finalist from last year, but you don't bring this guy out again the next time, and then you lose. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
I don't get that.
Yeah. And it goes back to what we were saying last week. Like, is there like some sacrifices he has to make every time to like turn into the Oswong? And he's like, I really need it.
I forgot I said that shit.
It's like,
that could be kind of offensive.
It's like, yeah, do I really need it for the A block final? Like, I guess so. I don't want to, waste a sacrifice. Gotta get into semifinals. So.
Yeah. But this match was good, and he overcame Teton and got basically set himself up for potentially being eligible to go through the block, just depending on how everything shook out the next two matches.
Yeah, towards the end there, he was able to. He used the red mist. He hits the running knee. It's the Mamba splash. Hits another knee to the back of the head to get the win over Teton. So with that win, he stays alive at 10 points, and then he needed some things to work out for him later on in the night, which they did. So first in the semi-main event, we had...
One thing I wanted to point out before we moved on. He has been using the Mamba Splash a lot during this tournament and winning with it. And I've been kind of confused by that. I've been like there was a period where he was winning with it in the early days of like Strong, and then it just became suddenly like a signature move. He beat nobody with it for years, and I've always thought it's a really good looking move and he should be beating people with it. And then suddenly in this tournament, he started winning with it again. I was like, are they rehabbing the Mamba Splash? Like, what's going on? And then I realized, like, no, they were rehabbing it just enough so that on these last few nights, it would be a really believable near fall that you would like bite on, which I assume after this, it's probably going to go back to just being his signature again.
Yeah. Following that, we had Kosei Fujita defeating Blake Christian. So Fujita was already eliminated going into the match, so he played spoiler here. This put Blake stuck at 10, and TJP beat Blake Christian, so TJP got a tiebreaker over Blake, so Blake was mathematically eliminated.
Good match. Great way for Kosei Fujita to get a big win over a lauded opponent. Tail end of the tournament, finish on a high note. Even though I know a lot of people were disappointed by his point total, he still had a great tournament.
Yeah, Vegeta, and this match, he came out hot, hit the big flip dive from the very beginning. It was really aggressive here with Blake Christian, and then towards the end, he was able to hit the no future and get the pin over Blake, which, pretty big win for him, considering that Blake, was running the table towards the beginning of the tournament. Somebody that was kind of pushed pretty heavily throughout and was able to get the upset victory here. I thought Vegeta looked really good throughout this whole tournament, and I think there's definitely a bright future here for him.
Strange. Gato decided to have someone that you knew would never win the tournament go on a hot streak in the beginning, but then fall apart in the second half of the tournament. That's weird.
Weird. He's never done that before.
Never done that.
So then following that, the main event was El Desperado defeating Hayata in 20 minutes and 27 seconds. So with that win, Despi got the 12. He gets to the A1 spot. Hayata stuck at 10. He also lost to TJP. So TJP has a tiebreaker over everybody that's at 10. And TJP is able to get to the A2 spot.
I was shocked at how good this match was. Not because it's like we've talked a lot of shit about Hayata on this show since he's appeared in this tournament, and it's not like I hate the guy or anything like that. Although I don't like his look, but he's just been there. He's just been a Bushi, and then suddenly on this night in the main event against the top star of his block, like they fucking did the thing. Like I'm like, oh, like Hayata can actually go if necessary. So kind of changed my opinion on him a bit there, because him and Desperado, they had a really compelling, really, really good match. And I felt like that was sort of needed for Hayata, because he was a guy that he had a sneaky good tournament in sense of kayfabe, because he kind of just racked up the points. You didn't notice it. Very similar to like Teton's tournament last year, where he's on all the undercards. You don't notice it, and then it's like, oh shit, he might be a finalist.
Yeah.
And but none of the matches were anything to write home about. And he is, the national champion in Noah. And you put him in this spot, Cork and Hall, big match, big star, big stakes, and they really, really delivered. And I feel like there's been the criticisms in the past about the inequity about New Japan's booking as it's concerned, or, related to Noah stars. And this was a pretty good utilization. Not saying that Hayata had a standout or breakout tournament, but oftentimes the thing you do last that's what leaves a lasting impression. And they showed that he could go toe to toe with pretty much at this point, the top junior star of New Japan, and hold his own and give him a lot of trouble and push him to the brink. They had a great match, and now he's going to go back with a very good point standing, a good showing in the tournament, and, do whatever it is and know that they're doing. But I thought this match was great.
Yeah, and the crowd was pretty hot for it, and they did some really believable near falls throughout the match. There was one point where Hayata kicked out of the Pinche Loco, and then towards the end of the match, Desperado kicked out of his the elevated DDT that Hayata does. So there was a lot of really great back and forth near falls there towards the end, and then Desperado had to bust out the J Driller version of his Pinche Loco into the regular Pinche Loco.
I don't know if I've ever seen that before. Can you recall him having used that?
He's done it before. I feel like he did it at Wrestle Kingdom against Hiromu this year.
Oh, okay.
Normally it's like the really big matches. It's kind of like a super finisher. Like I have to hit the J Driller version first, and then I can spin out into the regular version.
Yeah, when he hit that, I was like, oh shit, I'd never seen that before. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. And I like the way it's almost like stalling, like they hit and they stay there, and then he rolls them over instead of the regular one, they bounce off and fall to the side. Like he keeps them there.
Yeah. So that was very nice, and it flows perfectly into the second one. So he gets the clean pin there. And like I said, that puts him at 12. He advances. He wins the block, A1. TJP is the A2 and the runner-up.
Yeah, and up to this point, you and I, we're looking like Nostradamus, especially you, because you were calling these two literally from the very beginning of the tournament. Even when I had doubts about TJP standing, like you held firm. So I was like, oh shit, and this tournament's going exactly the way we said it was going to go. So I assumed the next night it would play out the same way.
Same. I was like, man, I was saying hi. I was like, yeah, man, we called this thing. We booked it out. We got this. We're so good. And
I was like, fuck, we are so fucking good at this. We were doing it too many years, man. Too many years. And then threw us a curveball.
Yeah.
Which I'm kind of like, we'll talk about it, but I'm torn on it because I'm like, I know people are complaining about it, us included, but at the same time, I'm like, you sure you want to do that?
Yeah, let's talk about it. So the final B block night was the following night, May 31st. Had a little bit of higher attendance here, 1,170. Show opened up. We had House of Torture, Evil Sho Nitro defeating Murashima, Sho Mikato, and Chota Umino. Then we had Blake Christian, Hayata, Bolton Oleg defeating Desperado, Kevin Knight, and Tomioka Hanma. Then Kosei Vegeta and Zack Sabre Jr. defeating Clark Connors and Gato. Callum Newman, Hanare, and TJP defeating Bushi, Shingo, and Teton. So a little preview there of the Never title match with Hanare and Shingo. And then that brought us...
This was the return of Hanare, right?
No, he was on the previous night. He teamed up with Callum Newman.
Oh, okay. So the previous night was his return.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we should have made mention of that. Looking a little bigger than he normally does. I'm used to him being cut, but I assume probably with the injury and the rehab and everything like that, it's probably related to that. But still looking really good, and I'm looking forward to that match with him and Shingo.
Yeah, and just you see the picture of his scar. The thing is gnarly.
Yeah. You don't want one of those.
So going into the final B block night, we had the first matchup being Dragon Dia finally getting some points on the board, getting an upset win over Kushida. Both men were already mathematically eliminated, so both men fighting for pride here. And the Dragon Gate fans have been very upset this whole tournament, and Dragon Dia was finally able to bring home a win here.
Yeah, and with Kushida, him going on that early run, we were just perplexed at it because of the way they booked him in the last couple tournaments and everything like that. He wasn't even supposed to be here. And then like his latter half booking made a lot more sense as time went on. And it's like, of course he'd be the one to be the sole loser to Dragon Dia. But I thought Kushida had a really good tournament in ring. Even if we weren't singing his praises the second half, just due to the kayfabe nature of it all. But him and Dragon Dia, I thought they had a very good match here. And the crowd was really into this, especially conceptually, just, kind of getting behind the underdog and wanting to see him, get that big win. And he did.
Yeah, also another note about this match, Taguchi was on commentary, and Dragon Dia was the replacement for Taguchi. So Taguchi was out here to watch the tournament and be on Japanese commentary. So with his replacement at ringside, Dragon Dia was able to get the win there in the honor of Taguchi as well. But yeah, really fun matchup here towards the end. Dragon Dia hits a Pele kick, does the 619, and then does a second rope DDT to get the pin over Kushida. So really fun match. Crowd really loved it. And I think Dragon Dia is awesome. Like we keep mentioning, like obviously didn't get the longest run times or main events, but in the minutes he got, he was awesome. Always high pace, Asai moonsaults, big Hurricane Ranas, just crazy flips, what you want to see in a tournament like this. And I would love to see him back in a more push capacity.
Yeah, I mean, Walker Stewart was on the commentary being like, this could be the first of numerous years of talking about, like, this is where it all started. His first 2 points, and then, a couple of years later, he put some more points up, a couple more years, and pretty soon he's headlining Dominion. I was like, it doesn't quite work that way, Walker, but
yeah.
We'll be lucky if we ever see this guy in a New Japan ring ever again. But, my understanding is he is a very, very prominent figure in the world of Dragon Gate, and like an upper mid card level guy, and someone that they see a lot of promise and future. And so I think probably Walker probably was on to something where we'll look back in a few years and be like, oh shit, Dragon Dia was in the 2024 Super Juniors. Like I fucking forgot about that. That's crazy. Cause he'll probably be like a open the dream gate type guy down the road.
Yeah. So following that, we had Drilla Maloney defeating Ninja Mac by countout. So again, both men mathematically eliminated, fighting for pride. Drilla comes out, cuts a promo, why am I even out here? I can't advance. What's the point of me wrestling? And essentially faint like he was going to give Ninja Mac the win by countout, but Ninja Mac, also
allegedly. I didn't believe that shit for 1 second.
But Ninja Mac followed him out, wanted to have a match, and so from there, kind of brawled from there and having a match, and then eventually they were back on the outside, and man, Maloney kills him.
Well, no, Drilla was on the outside, and Ninja Mac did I don't know what is it called, where he sets up the ninja flip and the
ninja special.
He did the ninja special to the outside, and he got caught in midair by Drilla. Drilla throws him up, catches him in the proper position, and Drilla killer right on the fucking floor. Incredible finish. A+, 5 fucking stars. This was my favorite finish of the entirety of the Best of the Super Juniors. And they did exactly what they needed to do here, because Drilla rolls inside, and I was like, this motherfucker needs to just stay the fuck down. And
yeah, I would have not been happy if Ninja Mac got up, if that didn't sell it. But yeah, it was perfect. Killed him. Yeah, you had the young lions there, like Doctor starting to come out, and then ref counts at 20, and Ninja Mac sold it great. He literally was just laid out,
he stretcher jobbed him, bro.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, and maybe I misspoke last week. In that match with Hiromu, did Hiromu kick out of the Drilla Killer, or did he just get his foot on the ropes?
He got his foot on the ropes.
Okay, because I heard other people talking about it, and I know last week we said that he just got the rope break, but I heard other people saying that they killed the move because Hiromu kicked out, and I'm like, a rope break is not a kick out. It's not the same thing. And I heard a lot of people saying like, he kicked out, they killed the move, and this was them having to rehab it. And maybe as such, it was a bit of a rehab, but damn, if this was the rehab, like they really sold it. This is one of those things where like, there's always going to be things that people complain about in wrestling, the way that wrestling is done. And as they always talk about killing the business and how things get more and more dangerous and less sold and yada, yada, yada. But I am of the opinion that within reason, there are things that need to be somewhat protected for the sake of just like getting people over. And I think that head drop spots on the outside typically should be extremely devastating. And, this is coming from somebody who loves like the Tiger Mask and Dynamite series. And those guys were doing, they're doing pile drivers on the outside and then popping up right afterwards. No selling that shit. So, it's not like New Japan always held sanctity over this, but when he fucking dropped him in the Drilla Killer on the mat, I was like, oh my God, like this is it. This is perfect. And he just stayed down. They stretcher jobbed him. And, it reminded me of like, remember when Sean got kicked by the Enziguri from Owen and he got stretcher jobbed. We need more of that sort of shit in wrestling. Like we don't get enough of it, and a lot of the old timers are like, we need to make the moves matter. We need to sometimes have that effect. And like, this was a great example of that, where like a killer finisher is done in a dangerous spot and it's sold to perfection and it reestablishes the move and it makes the guy look like $1 million. And the guy who ate it, like, just gets murdered. It is perfect. Chef's kiss.
Yeah, this was great. And the whole thing with Hiromu is like, I mean, he got his foot on the rope. I don't see that as killing it. Like, had he not been in the right position, like, he wouldn't have kicked out. Like, he was close enough to get his foot on the rope, so he barely got his foot on the rope. And so I feel...
Did Did Okada kill the one-winged angel when he got his foot on the rope?
No.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? That's stupid.
So yeah, it was just, you know.
Watch wrestling.
But yeah, this finish here was super dope, and this really, you know, got that exclamation point on the move and how dangerous the Drilla Killer pile driver is, and just what a badass Drilla Maloney is. And
when it was over, you had to ask yourself, like, damn, Ninja, maybe you should have just took the 2 points. Like, this guy was gonna go home.
Right, this man, he's hurt, he's tired, he didn't want to be here. Should just, you know, gotten those 2 points. Instead, you got dropped on your head. So Drilla gets the win there. He gets to 10 points. Ninja Max stays at 8 points. Then moving on to the semi-main event, we had Doki defeating Robbie Eagles in 15 minutes and 41 seconds. So, like I said, Robbie was already mathematically eliminated, and Doki needed to win to stay alive, and he did, and he got to 12 points here.
Okay, let's go over this very briefly again, just so I understand. So, Doki wins, right? If he were to win, then the only way he could advance is if Hiromu were to win, right?
No, if Hiromu lost,
if Hiromu lost.
Right.
If Hiromu had won, then Hiromu would have gone in as what? A1,
and Ishimori would have gone in as A2.
And then Hiromu would face
TJP.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, I just wanted to double check that because I had a weird idea about the whole thing and it was wrong. So it's good to know.
But yeah, they made it simple. Doki got the win, got the 12 points, and this was an awesome match. And Doki really fought his heart out here. And Robbie, again, being very aggressive and already being eliminated, was trying to spoil things here for Doki, but that was not the case. Doki was able to hit the Suplex de la Luna to get the pinfall win here in advance of 12.
Yeah, and this match was really, really good. And it was a situation where, like, Robbie Eagles was, like we discussed, he was eliminated already, but he was hell-bent on preventing Doki from being the one to get through, especially at his expense. And they wrestled a beautiful wrestling match and really just put it on each other. But unfortunately, even though Eagles seemed to have wrestled what I would call like basically a perfect wrestling match, he just got outdone and got caught at the wrong time and got hit with the Suplex de la Luna. Mm-hmm. But the chain grappling down the stretch and the number of like pinfall attempts and near counts was really something special here. I thought this match was awesome.
Yeah, and also Doki, another cool move he did in the match, he did a suicide dive into a tornado DDT to the outside, which was dope. Yeah, a lot of great chain wrestling. Also, the Doki Choki Italian stretch 32 came in as great near submissions, which that move's been put over a lot this year as well. So there's been also a lot of great near submissions there. And then Robbie, going for the turbo backpack, trying to do the top rope 450, but Doki caught him out of that top rope 450 into the Doki Choki, and then that went into the trading of roll-ups, and then he rolled him right up into the Suplex de la Luna, that kind of bridging dragon suplex. 1, 2, 3. Doki gets the big win. Corkin goes wild, and Doki, super career best here, 12 points, and just needed things to work out for him in the main event, and he was advancing.
Yeah, and this was something where we kind of weren't sure if it was going to play out this way, because it was like it seemed kind of more likely that we might just see him lose, and then you wind up with the final two guys in the main event playing for the A1 or the B1 and the B2 spot, and that just be that. Once Doki won, it pretty much created one of two scenarios. You were either going to see Hiromu go through as the top of the block and Doki as the second, or you were going to see Ishimori go through as the top of the block and Doki I messed that up. It would have been if Hiromu won, it would have been Hiromu and Ishimori going through.
Right.
And if Hiromu lost, then it's Ishimori and Doki going through. So, kind of added a little bit more stakes, a little bit more drama to the match following it. And I wasn't confident that Doki was going through. I sort of still thought that we were going to get Hiromu and Ishimori regardless.
Yeah, from a quote-unquote star power perspective of the junior division, like Hiromu and Ishimori are also two of the top guys that have been pushing for the last, 5, 6, 7 years. And so to me, I thought, oh, this is a spot where they're going to screw Doki out. And then, you just have Ishimori and Hiromu go through. They're two of the top stars of the division and have them going through semifinals. But yeah, they decided to not do that, to go a little surprise here, let Doki get the win and have that possibility of Doki being alive. And when we get to the main event here, it's like, I was still kind of confident, like, all right, Hiromu is winning this thing, so it's cool Doki got to 12, but it's not going to mean anything. But we were wrong.
Yeah, we were wrong. And on the one hand, I love Doki. This is well established on this show. Everybody knows this. If you've been listening for a while, I've been a big fan of this guy since day one. At the same time, I'm a bigger fan of being right. And I much more prefer for us to just have called the shit the way that we thought it was going to happen and then complain the next week about how they just did the predictable thing that we already said was going to happen, because that's fun. But didn't go that way.
We had a question here from Rambo. It says, any thoughts on how Robbie Eagles fits into the company at this time? He seems to be one of the standout talents from an in-ring perspective, but he hasn't worked NJPW a whole lot this year and is not even a semifinalist in Best of the Super Juniors.
It's a great question. I don't know if I have enough information to adequately answer this. I want to give you a good breakdown of it and have a hot take and tell you where I see Robbie slated and slotted and, kind of look at the tea leaves and figure it all out. But I've always kind of felt perplexed about Robbie's status within the company when he was there in the early days of his run and he wasn't having more success. I was always surprised by it and then kind of got conditioned to that being the case. And then suddenly they put the title on him. And not that I didn't think he was qualified or capable of winning it, but all the booking prior to that had told me that that's not the way they saw him. Mm-hmm. And then suddenly he was in the title picture, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think he won it, lost it, and then won it back and then lost it, played a little bit of hot potato with it. And then from there, he just never really got back into the title picture. And him winning the title, I believe that was pandemic era shit, right?
Yeah, I think it was 2021.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where it's I don't know if I don't want to sit here and be he only got a title run because of the pandemic, but there just seems to be certain guys, we talk about them on the IWGP end, like the Ibushis and the Shingos and the Ospreys, who kind of fit that mold where the fans saw them in a certain light, but they only decided to go with them when, even though, yes, the pandemic was going and you would think they're going with guys that they think are reliable, but they also weren't counting on them to fill houses because they didn't need to, so they had the latitude to sort of experiment a little bit. And I'm not saying that's quite what they did with Osprey, or I'm sorry, with Eagles, because I couldn't say that. I'm just kind of trying to generally get a vibe. But since then, he's challenged for the title a few times. He got the run with TMDK. They put him in the title or in the tag title spot with him and Tiger Mask, but they've never really fully committed to Robbie Eagles. And I don't know if maybe some of that has to do with the rising costs, especially lately, like the rising cost of bringing in, foreign talent, and, with the yen dropping and, Bushiroad's stock plummeting.
Yeah. Kadani did tweet out, about that, the rising costs of bringing in foreign talent. But to me, I'm like, he's a guy that's in Australia. He's closer. He's a guy that has brought you results and is an incredible talent. Like, again, he's a guy where I'm not getting a Nick Nemeth. I'm going to put that money towards a Robbie Eagles and get him in more.
Well, part of it is like, and again, this is what I was alluding to when I said I don't have enough information. I don't know what the domestic perception of Robbie Eagles is. I know what I see as a fan. I see a top tier talent, a guy that, and I said this last week, maybe is perhaps the best all around performer in the tournament. One of the best living junior wrestlers, or even just wrestlers in general that are out there. And, it's no secret. Like I think Robbie's a great guy. He's somebody that has ingratiated himself to a lot of the New Japan podcasts unsolicited. He's reached out to not just ourselves, but pretty much all of the podcasts that are out there. And if you ever listen to the interview that we did with him, he pretty much admitted as much, where he said, like, he listens to all of them, so that's something that is pretty cool of him on just like a personal level.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond that, like, I know what, like, the foreign fans, how they view Robbie, how they see him, but I don't know what the domestic response is. I know that he gets cheered for sure, but I don't know if they see him as like, I don't know what management sees him like. I don't know what the domestic audience sees him like. I don't know what that perception is. I've never been able to get like a firm handle on it to see like if he's a mover or a shaker when it comes to business, or, if, the bookers and management see him as somebody that they can invest in. I'm not sure. And maybe they do, maybe they don't. I really don't know that answer. All I can kind of guess by is the way they book him, and they book him as like a really solid hand, so like basically like an upper mid card junior. They don't
they
put
book
him in that type of spot.
Yeah, they book him strong enough to where he can challenge for a title, and you can believe him as a credible challenger. You can believe him as a tag team challenger, depending on who he's with. But past that, it doesn't seem like they push him hard to be like, all right, he's going to be a long-term champion. And just to, compare to other foreigners, like he does not kind of get the slotting of a Will Ospreay or a Ricochet, or, one of those, bigger, like high-flying foreigners that they would push very heavily in the junior division. Like I feel like he's as talented as guys like that, a Dragon Lee. I think Robbie's super talented, and it's on that level and could hang and could be pushed at the top foreigner of the division. But for whatever reason, they've never pushed him like that outside of that pandemic title run. It's always kind of been like, we're going to make him credible enough to where if he challenges, you're not scratching your head like, how's this guy getting a title shot? But we're also not going to have him, being main eventing all these shows and winning tournaments and, getting these super highlight moments at Wrestle Kingdom. I don't know why.
Yeah. And I mean, they clearly have to have seen some level of value in him for them to have invested in him for this length of time and continue to trust him to run with the ball and bring him in, tour after tour. But one thing I've thought about, and this is a great question. His utilization is not unlike the rest of TMDK. If you think about the way that they've kind of utilized Zack Sabre Jr. in a heavyweight, aspect, and the way that TMDK has been utilized, like everybody in that group has been given some level of prestige, title runs. They get acclaim, they have popularity, but they're never like the top people, and they all kind of, they all have that similar slotting where they, like, for whatever reason, like the Western audience sees them as like, I don't know why they're not the champions, and they're just not.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get it. And so, yeah, with that, it's kind of hard to predict what's going to be next for Robbie, what's his future. Also, we kind of know what his immediate future is going to be based off of what they did on the semifinal night. But then past that, it's hard. I mean, he's super talented. He's a guy that I would be keeping in that top mix for the junior title. But clearly, for whatever reason, that's just not what New Japan seems to have planned. So moving on to the main event, we had the Bone Soldier, Taiji Ishimori, getting, I would call, an upset victory here over the ticking time bomb, Hiromu Takahashi, 20 minutes and 10 seconds.
Okay, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say I wasn't surprised, because I think everybody was surprised. But when Doki won his match, and this is why I asked you about the scenarios before we started reviewing this night, I was trying to remember what my thought process was when this all went down, and now I'm like back in that mindset. I was a little less surprised than I would have been if it had been hypothetically, and follow me here, if Doki had not won, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then either scenario is plausible. And they both go through. And in fact, actually, the more plausible scenario would have to be Hiromu winning, because they weren't going to do Hiromu versus El Desperado in the semi-main event on the, in Cork and Hall. So at that point, like, it would have had to be Hiromu winning and Taiji Ishimori losing. But once Doki won, and it created a scenario where, like, Ishimori basically, or like where Hiromu has to win to continue through. I'm like, why did they have Ishimori? Like, why did they have Doki win to begin with? Like, it really increased the odds and the viability of Ishimori being the winner here to eliminate Hiromu to get Doki through. And I was still a little bullish on it, or bearish on it, because at the same time, I'm like, are they really not going to have Hiromu go through to the finals? Because we're all betting on the idea that they're going to get Hiromu and Desperado in at the main event of Dominion. But I couldn't shake this lingering feeling that they had Doki win for a reason. And because Doki won, they would have to if that meant anything, Ishimori has to win. And then lo and behold, here we go. That's exactly what took place. And while, yes, I was a little bit shocked, I feel like I would have been way more shocked if Doki was off the board entirely, and then Ishimori wins, and then you get Hiromu and El Desperado in the semifinal. That would be a scenario where I'm like totally shocked. And in this case, I was a lot less shocked, because they kind of gave us a little bit of a clue by having Doki win that match.
Yeah, I was just thinking that they had Doki win to just kind of give that
red herring.
Yeah, kind of a doubt, like, oh, like, to buy the near falls from Ishimori, like, well, if he wins, yeah, Doki could go through. So it's a little bit more like, oh, like Ishimori might actually have a chance of winning here. And so I thought, okay, it adds a little bit more to Ishimori potentially winning here and knocking Hiromu out. But I was very shocked that Hiromu lost. Also, he's top star of the promotion. He's the one that's always talking about wanting these junior main events, and it's going to be a chance to main event the second biggest show of the year, and then he's out of there. So yeah, I was really surprised here.
I have somewhat of a thought concerning that aspect, but yes, that's definitely something to consider with Hiromu out. I don't know if I could say for sure. I know I heard Dave Meltzer say that this is absolutely guaranteed the biggest show ever headlined in New Japan history by juniors, and I'm not quite sure that's the case. I feel like there might have been a Super Junior in the past, like a Super Junior final that was the main event in a big venue like Sumo Hall. but I could be wrong on that. I'd have to go check. But either way, I feel like the fact that Hiromu's been talking about it for so long, right? Headlining a major show as a junior, and now he hasn't. This gives his character life again.
Mm-hmm.
It gives the character a goal to attain that he has not attained, and it's much more attainable than his most recent goal, which was, breaking the all-time defense record, which he failed in that regard. And it's probably a positive sign. I'm not saying it's going to happen this way, but the fact that they're testing the water with two guys that are proven stars, but they're not the star caliber of Hiromu, probably means that this won't be the last time they do it. They probably will do something akin to this again with Hiromu trying to attain that. And the fact that they took it away from him this time is the telltale that it's going to happen again.
Yeah, I think definitely they're going to do that. Yeah, they mentioned it gives them something to chase, and it probably stings even more to have like two of his biggest rivals be the one to do it.
Now, I will say this match was very good. Very good. And some people probably would say great. And it was probably the match of the night. Although I think I like the Robbie Eagles Doki match a little bit better, but I like those guys better than these two guys. But I have to stick to tradition. I've never been sold on the Hiromu Taiji Ishimori pairing. Going back to their first match in the Super Junior Finals, the match that like Dave Meltzer broke the scale for and everyone fucking went gaga over. I'm still not convinced that that's a 5. I've got that at 4.5. I don't think it's a 5-star match. I thought this was very good, but I don't know. I wasn't into it like everybody else was, but people love this.
I thought it was a great matchup, and they did throw back to that Super Junior match. They were brawling throughout the crowd. Also, you had Ishimori working over the arm of Hiromu for the bone lock, and Hiromu attacking the head and neck of Ishimori. Also, last year Ishimori got injured with a neck injury and took him out of the tournament. So, and these guys, I think they have great chemistry. So there's a lot of great back and forth here. Ishimori hitting a 450 for a near fall. Hiromu does the Hiromu roll, gets a near fall. Ishimori does the time bomb 2 to Hiromu.
He hit Hiromu with the time bomb 2.
So that
shit was so funny.
Yeah, so that was a great near fall. And then after that, he hits the Buddy Cross and just pins him. So yeah. I for sure, I'm like, Hiromu's kicking out. Like, all right, kicks out time bomb 2. He's going to kick out the Buddy Cross. He's going to come back, Hiromu-chan bomber, hit the time bomb and win. But no, ate that Bloody Cross. 1, 2, 3. Stayed looking at the lights, and Ishimori gets the big win.
Go to hell. Game time. Let's go. That's it. I'm not sure that these guys do have great chemistry, like you said. I'm always going to be on the opposite end of that for whatever reason. This is just a pairing that doesn't quite work for me the same way it does for everybody else, but I am an outlier there. But the match was objectively very, very good. I loved Ishimori stealing the time bomb too, and him beating Hiromu. With the amount of times that Hiromu has finaled and won the Super Juniors, especially in recent history, and like the only time he hasn't finaled or won the tournament in recent history was like the year when his neck was broken and he wasn't like active. Other than that, he's like, he's won 4 out of the last 5, right?
Yeah, something like that.
So, the fact that he didn't qualify to get into the semifinals and we finally wound up with 4 guys who have never won the tournament, it kind of shows a little bit like you kind of have to question a little bit in hindsight whether it was a smart idea to have Hiromu win all those tournaments, because on the one hand, yeah, he's a big star and it was great, but it also kind of created a logjam situation where like all of these guys have never won the tournament, including other individuals like Robbie Eagles, who didn't even qualify. And, I guess Wato won last year. I forgot about that, but
But even a guy like Desperado, who's your number 2 star.
Yeah, and there was the year where him and Desperado finaled against each other, and I was pretty convinced Desperado was going to, the second time that Desperado was going to beat him, and he didn't. Like, Desperado lost to Hiromu twice in the Super Junior finals, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, this was a great matchup here. Ishimori getting the win, goes to 14. Hiromu stays at 12, and with Doki beating Hiromu, Doki had a tiebreaker over Hiromu, so Hiromu's out. Your B1 Ishimori, B2 is Doki, and we had a question here from Barry Walsh. Says, does Hiromu?
Before we jump into the question, I wanted to point out: did you hear the backstage comments where Ishimori was talking about, like, by God's grace, he was like granted the victory?
Yeah,
and like the commentators are like, "The fuck."
That man been hanging out with Teton backstage. Teton share the gospel with this man. And he's like, all right, maybe I need to pray about this match.
Teton walked him through the Lord's Prayer. He baptized this man. He christened him. Fucking, did all that. Now he's walking in a different way. Like, get ready for a new branch of the Bullet Club.
Who knows? Maybe Ishimori will join LIJ. Maybe Teton's back there having, Bible study with those boys.
I don't think the rest of LIJ understands where Teton's coming from in that regard. And if they did, it would be a quick split from the group. I think the fact that he doesn't speak Japanese is like a big reason why he's even still there.
Oh, man. But Barry Wall says, does Hiromu not making the semifinals show New Japan are attempting to move away from the big 3 of the junior division a little? Or does it possibly imply Hiromu might now go open weight or move up to heavyweight to plug the hole of missing stars in that division?
Would I love the idea of Hiromu doing different things, either working heavyweight or working open weight or pursuing the junior tag titles or pursuing the heavyweight tag titles or even the 6-man, anything like that? Would I be in favor of it? Yes, I would. I think that those are all great avenues and career trajectories that, for whatever reason, New Japan just has not had the foresight or felt like they've had the latitude to do. I think they always feel like when they have Hiromu, they can't let him get too far away from the title scene in the junior division because he's such a big star. They kind of have to keep him like ready to go at all times. And they've never explored those other options, similar to like when Okada had never, done trios, and then suddenly he's a trios champion and it was fucking weird and came out of nowhere. But because of the fact that they've never done that before, I have no confidence they're ever going to go that way. Do I think that it would benefit their business for him to go back to fighting heavyweights or doing open weight matches? Yes, I do. I think that is a no-brainer decision at this point, but that does not seem to be the way that they perceive things. So for whatever reason, they're not going that way. That being said, I think that I'm onto something when I mentioned the fact that they're doing this big junior show, and he's been advocating and lobbying for it for all of these years. This is no secret. And now he's completely shut out from it. You have to believe that he's going to be questing for that. And that's probably the more logical, trajectory of his character arc. Is now he has something. Everyone's always been like, well, he's done everything there's to do in the junior. So it's like, he never headlined Sumo Hall. He never main evented a major show before.
Right.
He's supposed to have that big match with Naito before the pandemic. That was going to be one. And he didn't get that. Now he's not getting this. Now he's got something to look for. And I don't know if other people are catching on to this, but I feel like, because we're the first ones to record after this show, we're going to look the smartest.
I do think this opens the door for him to be in G1 this year, because like you said, he's on the quest to wanting to main event a show as a junior. So the next way to do that, he could try to win G1 and get in the main event that way. And there's a lot of people who think that Naito is going to challenge Mox at Forbidden Door and get the belt back. So if that is the case, you could potentially have Hiromu win the G1 and do that Naito Hiromu match in the main event at Tokyo Dome. I think that's very highly unlikely, but that it leaves the door open for Hiromu to potentially do something in G1 to get closer to trying to main event a big show as a junior. Or you can even do something where, I don't know, Hiromu wins some kind of match to challenge Desperado at some other big show that happens later on in the year.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good. So let's jump into the semifinal / final night of Super Juniors. Jeremy, if you want to run that down, and I'll be right back.
All right. So show opened up. We had Blake Christian, Hayata, and Ninja Mac defeating the Intergalactic Jet Setters of Kevin Knight and Kushida and Shoma Kato in 5 minutes and 58 seconds. So this was pretty much just the, get your moves in kind of matchup here. You had the outsiders all team up together here with Christian, Hayata, and Ninja Mac. And we had Jet Setters reuniting here as well. So yeah, these guys who are already eliminated, it's a good opening matchup, just kind of a showcase match. Get your stuff in one last time. Ninja Mac hitting the Ninja Special, Blake Christian doing Fosbury Flop. So all these guys just were really kind of showing off some of their big highlight maneuvers here. And towards the end, Hayata was able to get a hammerlock on Shoma Kato and get the submission win for his team.
Baseball fans, BetMGM is giving you the chance to win a prize every day during the baseball season. Step into the batter's box for BetMGM Swing for the Fences free-to-play game. Pick any area of the strike zone and take your best swing. If you get a single, double, triple, or home run, you'll receive a prize. Smash a home run to collect a bonus bet on us. Just log into your BetMGM Sports account to get started. Then visit your promotion section to access the Swing for the Fences free-to-play game. You'll score a prize if you hit a single, double, triple, or home run. There's nothing more exciting than going yard, so swing for the fences with the king of sportsbooks. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only, Iowa only. Existing customer offers, subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary depending on market and expire 24 hours from issuance. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Primary Election Day is Tuesday, June 4th. Now is the time to make a plan. Whether you plan to vote absentee by mail, in person at your county auditor's office before Election Day, or at your polling place on June 4th, it's important you take steps now to make your plan at voterready.iowa.gov. Remember, Election Day is Tuesday, June 4th. Find more info at voterready.iowa.gov. This message is presented by the Iowa Secretary of State.
Then following that, we had the TMDK team of Kosei Fujita, Robbie Eagles, and Zack Sabre Jr. defeating the Bullet Club War Dogs team of Clark Connors, Drilla Maloney, and Gato in 1 minute and 17 seconds. So Connors leveled Kosei Fujita at the bell, and then there's a big brawl happening on the floor. Connors hits a power slam on Kosei on the outside, and then Kosei, they're back in the ring. He gets the O'Connor roll out of nowhere and pins Clark Connors to get the big victory here. And then post-match, Kosei and Robbie Eagles, they grab the junior tag team title. So as of this recording, nothing's official yet, but it does seem like Robbie and Kosei Fujita will be challenging for the tag team titles. They had all the War Dogs tied up here at the end, with Fujita having Connors in a submission and Robbie having Drill in a submission, and then Zach had a beard lock on Gato. So kind of had those guys fleeing, and TMDK was able to celebrate. So like I said, not official yet, but it does seem like with this post-match angle and them winning in this fashion that Fujita and Eagles will be challenging the War Dogs at Dominion for the junior tag titles.
All right, I'm back. So you've only gotten through 2 matches. I thought you were going to be further along down the road. So was there anything of note that I missed? Because I caught the tail end here that you mentioned Kosei Fujita, Robbie Eagles, probably challenging for the junior titles. Anything in the first match that was noteworthy or no?
No, the first match, it was just kind of a, get your stuff in match. You had the three outsiders teaming together against Jet Setter and Shomakato. So it's kind of a highlight match. Do all your big moves one last time. Get in, get out kind of thing.
Okay, perfect. I was like, fuck, a lot must have happened on this show. Johnny's still going over this shit.
Then following that, we had Great Okan and Jeff Cobb defeating Taka Michinoku and Yuya Uemura. So this was, a preview for the KOPW title match that's coming up between Okan and Uemura, which is going to be under Storm Catch rules, and we'll go over the rules a little bit. But that was a preview here, so with a lot of grappling here to kind of preview that match, and then Okan went to throw in strikes, but eventually it was in with Cobb and Taka. Cobb hits a Tour of the Islands on Taka. Then post-match, Okan tries to attack Yuya, but then Yuya turns it into a suplex and gets the better of Okan. Then following that, we had Bushi, Hiromu, Titan, and Yota Tsuji defeating Dragon Daya, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Bolton Oleg, and Toru Yano. So on commentary, they did tease the potential of three of these LIJ guys challenging the never openweight six-man champions who were in this match. We had Yota Tsuji hitting the Marlowe Stomp on Yano to get the win, so pinning one of the champions. So we potentially could see three of these four LIJ guys here challenging Tanahashi, Bolton, and Yano at Dominion. Then following that, we had Shingo Takagi and Tetsuya Naito defeating Callum Newman and Hanare. And this whole tour, Callum Newman's been trying to pin and beat Naito and been trying to get a one-on-one match with Naito. So they kind of played that story up here as well. And then also a preview for Hanare and Shingo. Towards the end, it came down to Newman and Naito. Nice closing sequence there. Naito was able to reverse the Os Cutter, hit the Destino, gets a pin on Newman. And so then this brought out for the next match where Shota Umino is going to have mystery partners to take on all of the House of Torture. So first they House of Torture came out first, and they're cutting a promo, and Evil has the replica title that Will Ospreay had when he was saying he was a real world champion. So he has his own belt. They're cutting a promo and talking about, the title match and all this stuff. And then Mox comes on the screen and he cuts a promo and saying, he is going to count on the third generation to have his back in the Lumberjack match. And so then the music hit, Umino comes out, and then he's accompanied by Hiroshi Tenzan, Tiger Mask, Yuji Nagata, and Togi Makabe. And so that team of third generation and Umino, they were able to defeat the House of Torture, with Umino getting the Death Rider on to Ren Narita, and then on Dick Togo, pinning Dick Togo. So babyfaces get the win here. House of Torture tucks their tails, and now the battleground will be even come Dominion, as Mox will have Umino and the third gen out there to fight off House of Torture.
Yeah, I saw something online about people posting about a promo. Where did he do that promo?
They aired it on the Tron.
On this show?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought he cut that on TV, like on Wednesday night or Friday or Saturday night for like AEW television.
Why would AEW do that?
I thought they were co-promoting. Well, I saw the picture and it looked like he was backstage, like in the AEW environment. Was he not?
Yeah, he was, but it aired on this show. So he filmed it backstage like Wednesday last week, and then they aired it.
But they didn't air it on their TV.
No.
Okay, and I know this comes off as like, it sounds like some hater shit. Like I'm trying to like be facetious and be like, oh, fuck them, they didn't show it. I literally thought they showed it.
No.
And now I'm like, oh, I guess maybe they should have. I don't know. Anyways, I saw people being like, what the fuck are the third generation going to do against the House of Torture? So I don't know. Remember when we used to talk to people that like nowadays, if you talk to somebody who watches New Japan, then they're like, super fucking diehard. But there was that period where like New Japan was in vogue, and so people pretended like they watched it, but they'd only seen like a couple, big shows. They latched onto a few people, and they're like, "That's my fucking guy," but they never watched. And you can kind of tell once you had a conversation, like they don't know what the fuck's going on. They just really like Naito or something like that. That's Jon Moxley. Like Jon Moxley doesn't actively watch New Japan, but he's still downloading like the fucking torrents of like 2001, 2002, 2003 New Japan. And he's like, fuck yeah, Kojima, Nagata, fucking Tiger Mask, Makabe. That's who I'm rolling with. It's like when Hulk Hogan came to New Japan and he was like, I want to fight Keiji Muto. He fought Keiji Muto and he was like, I want to wrestle Inoki. And all of them, everybody they got, all the big stars. Another fucking name. He's like Inoki and everybody else.
Yeah,
that's Mox right now.
Gail's like, who do you want to team with? Well, definitely Nagata. Former champ. He's great. Like, really, anybody? Tenzan? Yeah, we gotta go.
He's like, Colt Nakanishi. Like,
oh man. So yeah, we did have some questions here. Def Triangle 720 says, assuming you guys watch the show tomorrow, were you surprised by a surprise teammates for Shota?
I hadn't considered it and I didn't see it, so I guess I'm not surprised. Were you surprised?
I wasn't surprised. I mean, I figured that it had to be like Hantai or Chaos or some other like babyface team. I wasn't really expecting them to fly over like Claudio and Bryan Danielson just to be lumberjacks.
He flew over Regal's son.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Just those two.
Made Utah fly over with the concussion. So yeah, I wasn't expecting BCC, so I figured it was going to be some kind of Hantai, Chaos, some of those guys as the because everybody else is kind of tied up with everything else, so it makes sense. Next question here from Barry says, it's good Shota finally lost the jacket, but he replaced it with a money dance. Should this stop him from winning the belt? Dear God, stop him from dancing like that.
He's doing the Mercedes Monet dance?
Yeah, so he's doing, Will Ospreay has been obsessed with the Monet dance. So Ospreay's been doing it like backstage with Monet, and then he got Kyle Fletcher doing it, and then Umino was on Dynamite last week. And so backstage, Will taught him how to do the Monet dance. So then now that Umino's been back, he's been doing the Monet dance on the shows.
Maybe this will be funnier because I'm not like as actively like aware of what's going on the way I used to be, because I used to watch AEW more actively. So is this on TV or is this internet shit?
So Will is doing it off TV.
Off TV, okay.
So he's just doing it, he's posting on Twitter, him doing the Monet thing, and he's doing it with Kyle Fletcher, and then him and Umino did it backstage last week. But
I see, this is one of those things where people need to see the actual video of what we're doing, because you can see Jeremy like fluttering his fucking Jeremy's fluttering his fucking fingers and shimming his whole fucking body, and I'm like, I only know the Money dance where she's like this, the shoulder shit. Is she not doing this shit anymore? She's doing this now.
She has like the whole little thing or whatever, and
that's different than what she used to. I mean, yeah, she used to do this shit, but she used to be like like bow bow bow. Now she's fluttering
a little
shimming.
Bit, yeah. And so she was teaching Ospreay the dance, and so Ospreay's obsessed with it. He's doing it all time on Twitter. Got Kyle Fletcher doing it. Got Umino doing it. But now Umino's doing it on camera on New Japan when he walks out. So this man, they're like, Shota Umino. He's like,
what the fuck?
And then it's really funny with Japanese comment.
Country.
What?
Used to be a proper nation.
It is funny if you watch Japanese commentary, because then Milano's like, oh, CEO dance.
Oh man.
Smith. So yeah.
Walker, if you're listening, you need to do that same voice.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, it was funny once, but they're going into this big serious feud with House of Torture, then he's up there doing the money dance.
It's not serious for Umino. He already lost his title shot. What the fuck's he got to lose?
Barry also asked, does House of Torture have the most game of all the stables? Show is with Julia. I didn't know that. Evil's married to Io Sky. Yujiro has Peter. If you were in Japan, would you rock a House of Torture t-shirt walking around?
And then he said, I'm only kind of kidding, but thinking I would.
Yeah.
So first off, I've never heard about Sho and Julia being together.
Same, I've never heard that.
Not saying it's not true. I just never heard it. And then Evil and Io, like, weren't people speculating that they were not even together anymore? And then suddenly Evil was at WrestleMania, and then people were like, oh, I guess they're fucking together again.
Yeah, there was a little bit of scuttlebutt whether they had broken up, not broken up, kind of thing.
I don't even know if they're married, but maybe, I don't know. Barry Walsh probably knows more than us, even though we're the ones with the podcast. So I guess they're married. I don't know. But then, like, Yujiro and Peter, I'm assuming that that's not real. So now we're mixing the shoot with the kayfabe. Like, the fuck are we doing?
Right, because she's with Fale.
No, bro. She hasn't been with Fale in years. She was with Fale, like, but we're talking like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
She's not with Fale anymore.
I don't know what she's doing.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't say, but I'm pretty confident she's not with Yujiro the way Io. And I'm confused. Like, it's weird that her name's Io Sky. To me, it's still Io Shirai. Like, fuck it. But no, let's make it simple. Do I think they have the most game? I don't know, but would I wear their shirt? Absolutely not.
Yeah, ain't no way. Boy, ain't no way, boy. All right, moving into the business end of this card. So the first semifinal match, we had the Bone Soldier Taiji Ishimori defeating TJP 19 minutes and 37 seconds. The Oswong did not come out to play.
Yeah, that was a mistake. Before we get into the analysis, Jeremy, let me ask you. So now that we're with this actual, scenario played out, it wasn't something we really were able to kind of talk about last week. What did you want to see happen here, given the players involved and no Hiromu?
Well, I was thinking that, again, that TJP, well, I don't know. I was struggling because I'm like, it's the Dominion main event, and so I don't think you put TJP in the Dominion main event. However, they spent this whole tournament having this struggle and this story and him having to prove he's a captain, he's a flag bearer, and he squeaks out, he just by the skin of his teeth gets in the semifinals. I'm like, all right, well, that's the start of the story now. He got into the semifinals. He's going to beat Ishimori here, and he's going to get into the main event. And I'm thinking, well, Desperado's still alive, so the main event could still work out as long as Desperado's in there. So I was thinking, well, it's probably going to be Desperado and TJP, and it's going to be this whole final redemption arc. He's going to beat Desperado. He's going to win the main event, and he's going to be solidified as the captain of the Empire.
So what was the final that you were kind of hoping for versus, because it sounds like there were two things going on here, and I was kind of in the same boat. There's the final that you wanted to see as a fan, and then there's the final that you felt like made more sense business-wise because of the stage.
Yeah, I felt like what made the most sense would have been to go TJP Desperado, but I think that what we got is probably the better final, I guess, business-wise, kayfabe-wise, standing-wise in the actual division to have it be Taiji Ishimori and El Desperado.
Yeah, and this was kind of the where I was left a little bit confused and torn, because on the one hand, we complained up and down for the last 2 weeks where we were like, they're just going to do fucking Hiromu and Desperado again. but all the while knowing that that's the only match that on paper really seemed befitting of the Dominion main event. Then they take Hiromu off the board, and you're like, what the fuck are they going to do now? and then it's real easy to try and, after complaining for 2 weeks about the match that we all thought we were getting, to turn around and be like, they fumbled the bag here. Should have been Hiromu and Desperado. You know, and then at the same time, and in the same token, like you have the idea, like last year we praised the tournament for them going ahead and bringing two completely new individuals unexpectedly into the finals, and then thinking that the next year we're reverting back to Old Faithful. All the while they turn the page and they give us 4 semifinalists, none of which have ever won the tournament. So we're guaranteed to get something fresh and guaranteed to get a new Super Juniors champion. But that caveat of it's the Dominion main event is kind of looming. And it's like, what the fuck do they do? Like, because on the one hand, like me, I'm like, I want to see Doki beat Desperado. Like me, I wanted TJP versus El Desperado, like the two guys with the most harrowing stories in
You
the
mean TJP
block.
and Doki?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Doki and TJP, where I'm like, but I know that can't main event Dominion. Like it just literally cannot. Like there's no, as unfathomable as it was that both of these guys even got to the stage that they did, there was no way that was going to be the main event of Dominion. Like we've jumped the shark as a company now at that point.
Yeah.
But you know, you're sitting there and you're like, do I just want to see Ishimori and Desperado again? It's like, probably that's what you should do as far as like star power. But like, I also I don't know. I was hoping either Doki or TJP got through, but I knew that neither of those guys really should be headlining Dominion at the same time.
Yeah, it was definitely kind of like this battle of like, all right, knowledge and what I want to see and what they're actually going to do and what makes the most sense. And so, yeah.
And how good is it going to be? But ultimately, on this final night, these two final matches, I thought were both in the 4-star plus range or 4-star range, and amongst the very, very best matches of the entirety of the tournament. Because while the tournament's been very good and there's a lot of things to praise and people have been happy about it, we've kind of been lacking the really, truly great epic matches we used to see. And these two kind of elevated the tournament.
Yeah, I thought both these matches were great. And like you mentioned, we were in a packed, sold out Gorkin Hall, and they were really into both of these matches. And so, yeah, this TJP Ishimori match, there was a lot of great grappling. You know, both guys, submission experts. Ishimori does the bone lock and sometimes the label lock, and TJP does a Pinoy stretch. So there's a lot of, you know, back and forth is there. There's also a lot of high flying from both guys. TJP attempting the Mamba Splash for a near fall, and Ishimori doing a second rope leaping DDT. And so there's a lot of just really back and forth, and I felt it's a really like kind of fast paced match for the most part. And then towards the end here, TJP's rallying. He hits the tornado DDT, Mamba Splash for a near fall. He puts the Pinoy stretch on, but then Ishimori escapes and is able to apply the bone lock and then roll that into the Bloody Cross. 1, 2, 3. The boyhood dream does not come true for TJP.
Yeah, I thought that the final rally of TJP in this match was really awesome. And I was like getting behind it, and I was like, fuck yeah, like, let's go. Let's go, MAGA. Let's go.
Well, the funny thing is for this match, because a lot of these shows have started like early enough where I've been sometimes been able to watch it like as I'm getting ready for work, and kind of watch it kind of live. But this one, like, I was a little bit slower in the morning and I was doing some other stuff, and then I pressed live to see where it was at, and I saw Ishimori walking backstage, like walking to the back of an ice pack on his head. So I was like, oh, wow, TJP beat this man and is going to the finals. And then I put the whole show on later, and this man loses. I was like, oh, man.
Yeah, I had this match on, and Megan walks in and she sees TJP. She's like, "That's the fucking MAGA dude, the Q dude." And she's like, "He's stupid." But then, putting all his political shit aside, I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go. Like, Capitan, come on.
I was rallying and I thought he was gonna win, but yeah.
I thought so too. And then he got put down, and I was like, fuck. And then it brought to light what I talked about last week and kind of what my apprehension about his whole run was over the past few weeks, where I've been saying, like, if you only get him to the semifinals and then have him lose, what is that solidification,
Mm-hmm.
Because like and we'll talk about it, but for Doki got 12 points, him in his position getting to where he got and then losing was a huge elevation in defeat. But with TJP, it's a little different because he's been declaring himself the leader of the faction, and it's do or die. And is it good enough to just be a semifinalist in the Super Juniors to make yourself the guy that fills the hole for Will Ospreay?
Yeah, and he got in pretty much on a banana peel kind of way. Like, there was a multi-way tie, and he just happened to have a tiebreakers over the right people and got in.
Right, and even then, it's like I don't know, from a storytelling standpoint, it just, what's the story there? He didn't fail, and he did good, but he didn't win. Where's that leave the group, and where does that leave him? And it kind of just puts him back into, if he didn't have this Capitan thing running over his head, we'd be sitting here being like, fuck, they set up TJP to be in an incredible spot. Look at his standing, where he's progressed from year over year, and where he was in this tournament in the past and everything like that. We'd be talking about the elevation of TJP. But because the way they've been the storyline is that he needs to attain this Prince Devitt level, mythical level of achievement, of being a junior leader of a faction, and a guy that can be like he needs to be a IWGP world title contender to really facilitate that whole thing. It undermines the elevation that they gave him in this tournament, to where it's like, well, he did good, I guess.
Yeah, and also, like, he was talking about, wanting to fight heavyweights and be open weight. Like, I don't buy him in a G1 after this. You barely got through Super Juniors.
Bro, Ishimori is one of the smallest men in the company. You lost to him. He beat your ass. What the fuck are you fuck you think you're going to do to Bolton Oleg? You know what I mean? Like,
but yeah, I don't buy him in a G1 now.
It's the muscular Chihuahua. It's the fucking Chihuahua. You're going to do when a Rottweiler grabs a hold of your ass. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh my gosh. But yeah.
TJP versus Fale in the G1. TJ versus Hikuleo. Come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, like, I don't know. But yeah, so Issa loss here. We had a question from Ethan Saber Jr. on Twitter. Says, do you believe that giving TJP the victory at Dominion solidifies him as a rightful captain of the UE, or does he still need to achieve more? And so I think he sent this question in before we knew the results. So, I mean, I think had he won at Dominion, I think, yeah, that would have, he's main eventing a show, he's winning a tournament, he's winning a championship. I think that would have brought him a lot closer to that main event spot that he's trying to get to.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda, but he didn't. Oh man. So again, I can't understate this. Two of the very, very, very I'm sorry, we didn't jump into the finals. I thought we were done.
Yeah, so the main event, other semifinal, El Desperado defeats Doki 22 minutes and 28 seconds.
I loved this match. This is the fourth time that Doki and Desperado have faced off against one another. Each time it's been in singles action, and each time it's been in a Super Juniors. They wrestled each other 3 years straight from 21 to or from 2020 to 2022. Last year they didn't wrestle, and then this year they met in the semifinals. And last week I had kind of been like, I would like to see this match again. I didn't think we were actually going to get it. We did end up winding up with it, and I loved the aspect where they were so familiar with one another and knew every counter and every step to what the other guy was going to do, where it just became like a high level game of chess essentially.
Yeah, it was an awesome match, and also, these guys, there's a lot of history there with their relationship from Mexico, and then Suzuki-gun, and the whole thing was kind of poetic with, 2019, Doki comes in as a replacement for El Desperado, and that's Super Juniors, and that's how he kind of gets into Suzuki-gun, and just their whole kind of relationship, and just the way that's kind of arced on that. And also Doki's been on those Despi Takamania shows, and so just kind of their whole history and rivalry, and then just to be in this big spot here. And so also they know each other very well. There's a lot of history, and I love the way they played it. And of course, Desperado, he's looking for anything he can get on the knee to set up the numero dos. And there was one part where Doki avoids a knee breaker, but then
I love this spot.
Then Despi catches him with the cross knee breaker thing and drops him, and it was like, damn, he got him.
I loved that because it was so simple, but it was like he did the right thing, Doki. He avoided the knee drop, only to put himself in a worse position. And commentary was like, this was 100 times worse than what would have happened if he'd just taken the knee drop. And that's the high level chess that I was referring to, where Desperado's 2 or 3 steps ahead of this guy. And it's very much like almost the same logic to jiu-jitsu, where the guy's doing everything textbook to get out of something, but where he's going. So you're actually setting traps for way worse maneuvers than what they anticipated, and they can't avoid it. It's awesome.
Yeah. And Doki's selling was so good in this match, especially with that spot. It was almost like he got shot with a bullet, the way he went down after that knee breaker. And then, he's having to be a little bit creative with coming off the leg. And there's a cool spot, because a lot of times he does that kind of springboard back elbow, and he did a cartwheel into it to use more pressure on his arms to spring up into the back elbow. I thought that was really cool.
Doki did another a wild dive to the outside into a tornado DDT, but what was different here was they actually landed on the wood paneled floor as opposed to the padding, and Desperado sold that like it was death. And
his head had been targeted previously by Clark Connors, so he was kind of already coming in with a sore neck as well.
Yeah, he came into the match with the yellow health bar for the head.
Yeah.
And Desperado Doki relied quite a bit on the Doki Choki. That was something that was a go-to all tournament long, but his legs were targeted by Desperado with the knee attacks, and then obviously trying to potentially set up for the numero dos, or not the numero dos, the pinch. Numero dos.
Numero dos, yep.
And almost every single time that Doki was able to get that move on, he'd be able to get Desperado in trouble, but Desperado was able to kind of power out of that move. And a lot of that probably was due to the fact that he attacked those knees and really softened them up.
Yeah. Then we also got a cool spot from Doki where he does the Doki Choki in the ropes to Desperado. That was pretty cool.
The ropey Choki. They called it.
Mm-hmm. And then that set Doki up to get he went for the Daybreak DDT, but then Desperado blocked it. And then that, excuse me, that's where we got that spot there where you mentioned where he does the Tornado DDT to the outside. Desperado hits a German for a near fall around 18 minutes. They're trading strikes. Doki's going for the Suplex de la Luna, but Desperado fights out of that, gets him in the Doki Choki again. He tries to flip him over, but then Desperado gets up and hits the Pinche Loco, and then does it for a second time. 1, 2, 3. Desperado gets the win and is going to the finals.
One of the most important matches to me when it comes to the chain effect of professional wrestling has to be the first match, the first singles match, death match between Jun Kasai and El Desperado. Because if that match doesn't happen, Desperado doesn't get his jaw broken, Doki doesn't come in as his, as his replacement, and we don't get the greatest modern run of junior wrestling in the history of New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yo,
Doki.
If Desperado doesn't get his jaw broke, this man Doki's still in Mexico in the mud floors, Tijuana, rolling around the dirt.
Yeah, absolutely.
This man was out here like he was in the soft grounds, Uganda and Mexico.
Yeah. We would have started with just 3 guys, and then we would have jumped up to just 4 guys. There would be no 5 guys.
Oh man. Yeah, there's a multiverse, there's a universe where this happens, where Desperado doesn't get his jaw broken, and we never get Doki in New Japan.
There's a timeline where Suzuki-gun is still running strong right now.
Suzuki's IWGP champion.
Never gonna happen in any universe.
Gato travels universes just to make sure that never happens. All right. We had a question here from Kei Sachi, but I think again it came in before we knew the results. Is it Doki time? Will he do it? And if he does it, should he beat Sho?
Well, unfortunately, it's always Doki time, but he's not in the final. So,
and had he did win, yes, he should have beaten Sho if he were to win.
But what a fucking elevation,
Yeah. I mean, to start where he was in 2019 and to where he's at now, 12 points, semifinalists, like.
And you know what? Let's be fair. The TJP elevation is still a thing. Is it the lofty levels that it should be to match the level of story they're telling? No. But you have taken 2 guys who in years prior have never, ever sniffed this level of success in this tournament. And suddenly you've got players in the division again. Multiple, quite a few actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did a great job. Yeah, establishing new people. Even some of the guys that didn't get to the semifinals, I think they did a great job. Also, Robbie Eagles gained a 10. Blake Christian looked good. Drill Maloney, Clark Connors, they established those guys. So, yeah, this tournament really helped out a lot of people here. But yeah, that's the semifinals. Before we get to Dominion, any final thoughts on the overall tournament thus far? Any last takeaways?
One thing I've wanted to kind of mention past couple of weeks I haven't mentioned is I appreciated the schedule. And I feel like the schedule was probably beneficial to the wrestlers as well. There have been a few years here where it's just been like night after night after night, one night off, and then 3 nights on, and then 1 night off, and then 4 nights on. And it's like, what? It's like, 15 matches or 15 nights in like 18 days. And it's like, the fuck are we doing here? So it was kind of nice that they spaced out the tournament a little bit, gave us some breathing room so we could actually, get through it.
Yeah.
That's really the only main thing. I mean, I don't know, Jeremy. I feel like you and I are in a little bit. I've been listening to some other shows, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hearing praise for this tournament, really good booking, lots of great wrestling, elevation, and that this stuff is all true. I don't want to discount how good the tournament was. It's just been in the game like 7 years, bro. I remember when Will Ospreay and Dragon Lee and Shingo Takagi were in this shit, and
bro,
it's not the same.
That Ospreay Shingo final, like I watched that match like so many times in a row, like when it happened.
Listen, the saddest. Okay, so like how CRN and different people, they do like this day in New Japan history or whatever the fuck. And then, every year around the time of like Super Juniors, that's when they start posting 5 years ago on this day, this Super Juniors match happened 4 years ago, this day, 6 years ago, this day. And it's so fucking depressing to see Ricochet and Will Ospreay and Dragon Lee and Prime Kushida and all these motherfuckers having 5-star classics, right? And I'm used to getting multiple 5-star classics in a Super Juniors is my favorite tournament. Like, I've been on record saying this on the show for years. And then it's like, I sound like an asshole complaining about, 3.5 to 4-star wrestling, but it's not hitting like I'm used to.
Well,
I've been watching this for a while.
I think we're just, spoiled in general with the amount of great wrestling there is around the world. So, 3.5 to 4 doesn't hit the same when every week there's a 4.5-star match somewhere in the world. Look,
I'm done. I'm done with, I don't know drugs that well, but like, I'm done with the weak shit. All right. I need the black tar heroin in my veins. Give it to me. I need to feel something.
But yeah, and overall, I enjoyed the tournament, and I don't want to sound like this.
Oh, so I'm not alone on this. You're with me.
Yeah, I'm with you,
bro. Because we haven't talked about this, and like I'm listening to other shows and like incredible tournament. I have nothing to complain about, and I'm like, where's the fucking 5-star match?
Insert Kenny Omega clip. Was it a 5-star match? No.
Where are they? I used to see those all the time.
Oh, where the 4.5 at?
We're seeing 4.25 star finals. We're like, fuck, that was good.
Where the 4 3/4 at? Oh man.
Oh, it's not like it used to be.
Yeah. Overall, but I enjoy the tournament. Yes, there was good booking. There was elevation. There established people. There was very good. There were some great matches, but if I'm comparing apples to apples, and I'm looking at this tournament compared to, like you said, we've been doing this thing since end of 2017. If I compare this to some other tournaments that we reviewed in the past, the in-ring was just not at the same level.
Yeah. And I won't talk about it too much more, but yeah, it's a fact.
Yeah.
It's true.
And I think that's a testament to just how great guys like Will Ospreay and Dragon Lee and Bandito and Ricochet and all how great those guys are, and they're truly some of the best wrestlers in the world.
Jonathan Gresham.
Oh man, he's doing a spooky gimmick now too.
Fucking what's his name? I don't know.
Flip Gordon.
I was gonna say Flip Gordon. Who's the dude from Mexico that used to be in all these?
Dragon Lee.
No, the other one from CMLL.
Silverado.
Before it was Teton, they always had. He looks like Tony Donati. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with me.
Volador.
Yeah, Volador Jr. Anyways, let's jump in. So I'll run through the Dominion card here. So coming up this week on June 9th, we've got the Dominion card so far announced. We have starting off the IWGP Tag Team title / New Japan Strong Openweight Tag Team title 4-way elimination tornado tag match as the team of Bullet Club, Chase Owens and Kenta, take on the Gorillas of Destiny, El Fantasma and Hikuleo versus TMDK versus Bishamon. So we got a 4-way match here, and we're doing the old ECW rules where each team will be eliminated until we wind up with just one winner, which I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, big fan of the 4-way dance, 3-way dance format. And so, yeah, it's going to be interesting. One team's going to end up with both titles. We did have a question here from Rambones. Any idea of what the logic is of having a 4-way winner-takes-all elimination match for both tag titles rather than unifying them. It seems we keep going around in circles with booking of these belts.
Well, it's nice because you can break them up and then put them back together and then break them up and then put them back together later, you know? You put them together, you can't break them back up. You know, you kind of have to, you know, have that ability to that space.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't get it. But it's obviously it's pretty much what you said. Like they want to probably have the creative booking to be able to book separate matches at some point and do the whole like what they did last year with that New Japan Strong US or Japan show where it's like first night was the Strong main event and the next night was the IWGP with the same team. Like I'm sure they want to continue to do stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But so who do you think's going home with the belts here?
Well, real quick, Death Triangle 720 also asked, do you think after Dominion, Hikuleo could be leaving NJPW?
I mean, it's a possibility. We don't know what his contract status is. Clearly, his brothers are, you know, in full go right now on SmackDown with the Bloodline. So, I mean, it seems like they're really cranking up that Bloodline universe. So,
ain't nobody realer than Gorilla.
So yeah. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but I guess we'll have to wait and see.
I got Team DK here.
I'm gonna go. I don't know. I'm gonna go Bishamon.
I could see it. But either way, we are both predicting new champions for both belts.
Yeah.
Nice. So the next matchup, we have the NJPW World Television title on the line as the champion Jeff Cobb defends against the Stone Pitbull Tomohiro Ishii.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that Ishii, he did watch the tag match that Jeff Cobb was in on the semifinal night. He was sitting kind of by the bell keeper's table, so he was watching the match, and then post-match, it didn't get to a face-to-face. But, I mean, we've seen Cobb and Ishii before. This should be a great, you know, never-style matchup, and it should be a really fun match.
Should be really good. I don't see the reason why you would switch the title here. Title could probably benefit from a little bit of stability, which I think Jeff Cobb retaining does that.
Yeah, I agree. I'll go with Cobb retaining.
Next match, we have NJPW King of Pro Wrestling title on the line as Yuya Uemura defends the provisional champion against Great-O-Khan in a Storm Catch rules match. And the rule is as follows. So a Storm Catch rules match is a match where strikes are prohibited in favor of throws, grappling, and submissions. Under these rules, there will be a 15-minute time limit. Rope breaks or leaving the ring will be limited to 2 occasions. And then after that, a rope break or leaving the ring will constitute a DQ. So basically, it's only pinfalls or submissions, no strikes allowed, 15 minutes, and then you can't leave the ring or touch the ropes more than twice.
Yeah, essentially it's pretty much a pure rules match. Except in pure rules, you can do open hand strikes, and this one you can't strike at all. But very similar format.
Similar, yeah, like their own variation on it. But the other thing too is like in a pure rules match, you could grab the rope, and once you've exhausted your rope breaks, it just doesn't do anything. You can't get the submission broken up by grabbing the rope. Here it's a little different, where if you grab it a third time, it's a DQ.
Mm-hmm.
So you're done.
Yeah, so a little bit more strategy there on the rope breaks.
I think the good thing is with this rule set, it's much better than what Great-O-Khan was proposing, because he wanted a 61-minute
2 out of 3 falls.
Yeah, 2 out of 3 falls, which is somewhat in line with what Yuya Uemura had originally, proposed last month when he was, trying to get his rules passed. But this time we're getting the 15-minute instead of 61-minute rules, and that's much better
Yeah. So yeah, I voted for the Storm Catch rule. So I'm happy with this one, and yeah, I think this will end up being a lot better than the lemon eating contests that they had.
Yeah, and I think Uemura would probably retain, but if Great O'Khan did win, it really wouldn't surprise me because it's fucking KOPW and none of this shit makes sense. So, I mean, would it really even be that bad if he dropped KOPW? It's a bit of an albatross anyways.
Yeah.
I think he retains.
Yeah, I think he is going to retain as well.
After that, we've got the never openweight title on the line as the champion Shingo Takagi defends against Hanare. And this is Hanare's first singles match since returning from injury. And you know what, Jeremy? I think he's going to win the title.
Yeah, I would go with Hanare here. I know sometimes they like to do the booking trope of when a guy comes back from injury, he's not 100%, and so they lose and have to work their way back to 100%. But I feel like, this guy split his head for this company. I think that, he's been killing it the last several years. I think now's the time you have him get this big win over Shingo and have him run with the Never title.
Yeah, he's never had a run with the singles belt. The Never title never stays on anybody more than like 2 or 3 defenses anyways. So I just wouldn't be surprised if it goes to Hanare there. Looks like we did have a question about this match.
Yeah, Rambone says, is Shingo versus Hanare destined to restore the feeling of the Never division? How much is that tough guys having stiff matches aspect of NJPW critical to what most of us enjoyed about the golden era that has just passed?
I mean, I'm a big fan of that style of wrestling in New Japan, period, going back to always. And I feel like it's something we could do a lot more of, not just in the Never division, but just across the board. I remember a day when that was the standard in this company.
Yeah. I mean, big muscle up guys just throwing bombs, big tough guys having tough guy fights, being dumb jocks, dropping each other on their heads. Like, I think that's a lot of the essence of, I think, Japanese wrestling and what attracts people to it. And especially during that golden era of the Never title and guys like Ishii and Shingo and Shibata going out there, Goto, Suzuki, really going out there and killing themselves. And yeah, I think it's a very important aspect of the New Japan product. And I know that the Never title's kind of been hit or miss the last few years, and then they try to make it more of the secondary title, the Jay White run. And so I think we're getting back to the roots here. And so I think a match like this will really kind of reestablish it to what it's supposed to be, and it's going to be a banger. And yeah, I think Hanare is going to get the win here.
The semi-main event, the IWGP World Heavyweight title, is on the line in a lumberjack death match as the champion Jon Moxley defends against Evil. These rules were proposed this week. It looks like obviously the House of Torture will be backing up Evil on his side of the ring, and then Jon Moxley will be seconded by the third generation dads, probably along with Shota Umino will be out there too.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so once I heard that they were doing the stipulation, I thought, wow, this was definitely something that's going to make the match better. Because again, I don't think they've ever really had a good lumberjack. Okay, I'll take that back. There's one good lumberjack match in New Japan history. We talked about it on the air a few years ago, where it was it's the match. I think it's from Invasion Attack. I could be wrong, but it's definitely a match between Prince Devitt and Hiroshi Tanahashi. And by and large, aside from that match, all the other lumberjack matches they've had in New Japan have been terrible. So I don't know. At the same time, Jon Moxley is involved with one of the only good lumberjack matches in WWE history when he wrestled, I think it was Seth Rollins at like a SummerSlam one year.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty good match. People kind of forget about that one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in favor of them just having everybody out at the beginning, so we're not waiting for the run-ins. We'll have everybody out there, have all the shenanigans and gaga right from the start. You know what you're getting right at the beginning.
Yeah, but that's bullshit, Jeremy, because you're implying that by having everybody out there from the beginning, it's going to negate the idea that it comes into play later on in the match when it absolutely is still going to come into play.
Right. That's why just have him out there at the beginning because it's going to come into play. Just have him start out there.
No, I get that. But like the benefit of having them out there from the beginning is that they don't have to do it at the end because it's already there, but they're still going to do it anyways.
Yeah.
Either way. So you're just filling the early parts of the match with shit, and then the second half is still going to have the shit anyway. So instead of it getting better, it's just shittier across the board.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that's better. I think it's bad. Oh man, Evil should not be challenged. Evil should never challenge for a title. And oh my God, I don't know, man. I can't imagine, for me personally, I can't imagine a way to make this match guaranteed worse than it was going to be other than this.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it was going to be a hot mess regardless. And yeah, it's not going to be great.
You're in favor of them. You don't want there to be any deception about it potentially being a great match and then stolen away at the end. You just like want them to just make it known. Like it's gonna be shit, just be shit.
Right. We know what it is. Just have all those dudes out there from the beginning, have all the run-ins throughout the whole match, and this whole, have, Tenzon out there trying to Mongolian chop these dudes away.
I will say this. I had more fear about the potential of Evil winning the title here prior to this stipulation. Now that the stipulation is involved, for whatever reason, I feel much more confident that Jon Moxley is retaining.
Yeah, I think Mox is retaining. I still think there's a good chance, though, that Evil could win. The babyfaces did get the momentum going in on the Go Home show. And then also, Mox's arm is still tore up from the Konosuke match.
What about that?
Yeah, and so I'm wondering if that's like the target that's going to allow Evil to win the injured arm and then all shenanigans, and then it's kind of a banana peel kind of win.
In the news, do you have the shit about Rocky Romero and Jon Moxley?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we'll talk about that. But yeah, so Mox is injured. It still is viable. It's viable that Jon Moxley drops the title here.
Yeah. I think the one saving grace is that Forbidden Door is right around the corner, and more than likely you're going to want Jon Moxley on that show as champion defending.
Okay, yes, but how easy would it be to just have Jon Moxley on the show and then just not put Evil in a prominent position? And then the people who would argue against it, like, whoa, he's the IWGP champion. And I'd be like, well, last year they had Sonata fight, Jungle Boy in a mid-card match, sub 12 minutes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. Jon Moxley's going to be in a prominent position whether he's champion or not.
Right.
You can just put Evil in a multi-man tag match, even if he's champion. It's not going to make a difference.
Right.
If he even shows up. Right.
I just would rather the title at least be in a top spot on a top guy, be showcased.
Maybe it might. I mean, I don't know. They haven't endeared their utilization of the title thus far, and they've had the champion for months now. So I mean, why would I believe that they'd do anything different on this show?
I don't know. But I'm gonna go with Mox retaining, but I won't be surprised if Evil wins.
Agreed. And then finally, we have the Best of the Super Juniors 31 final match as Taiji Ishimori and El Desperado vie to become first-time Super Juniors winners and earn themselves a shot at the IWGP Junior title that is held by Show.
Yeah, this should be. I think it should be a good matchup. Got two top guys here. Obviously Desperado being the face here. I think that crowd's going to be really behind Desperado and wanting to see him get the big win. And I feel like with him having the Despi Invitational the following night, I kind of feel like he has to win. I think it'd be kind of weird to have him lose and then go into, trying to sell pay-per-views the next night with him losing in the Super Junior finals the previous night. But I guess it's possible that they could do that well. But I think it should be a great match, and I'm thinking that El Desperado would get the win here. Did have a couple questions. Death Triangle 720. Hypothetically, let's say Despy wins Best Super Junior and wins the junior title before Forbidden Door. Do you think Despy should be on the Forbidden Door card? I think so. I think obviously Despy is one of the top stars of New Japan, and Despy showed up on Forbidden Door before. I think it'd be cool, if they could set up a junior title match. I know they kind of treat Darby more as a quote-unquote heavyweight in AEW, but I think a Darby Desperado match would be cool. Ethan Thaver Jr. says, do you think the BOSJ winner will challenge at a small or a big venue, and would a smaller venue lose prestige to the title match or not?
I'm assuming that it's probably going to take place on the Soul Tour. I don't know where that is going to, land as far as the big Soul Tour final or whatever. But if it does wind up being a situation where Naito challenges, they might be having it in that baseball stadium that he's been lobbying for. And I think that's a good shot for that to be where they do the title match.
Yeah, I just don't know when that would be. I guess if they do that in the fall sometime.
Well, isn't that the next tour? New Japan Soul?
Yeah, but I don't think they're doing the stadium for that. They would have already announced that, right?
Bro, I don't know. Do they have the dates and the venues for that tour announced?
I think the dates are out, but I don't know if
I was going to say we could go to the New Japan website, but then I remembered we can't go there.
So so New Japan Soul is June 16th through the July 5th. They're Hokkaido Prefectural Sports Center, Amaroki and Budokan, Iwata Prefectural Gymnasium, Fukushima Toyota Crown Arena, Korakuen Hall, Tokyo Budokan. Yeah.
Okay, so it doesn't look like they have anything major announced for that. Like, I guess you're right. There's no baseball stadium. I got the feeling that like they're gonna bust it out and be like, oh, guess what? We're doing a baseball stadium.
Well, I feel like they would have to promote that several months ahead of time and not just, oh, by the way, next month there's going to be a big stadium show.
Well, then in that case, then it seems like the title match should probably take place at the end of the Soul Tour at Korakuen Hall.
Yeah.
That also probably throws some water on the idea that Naito would challenge Mox for that tour.
Right. I think Naito's challenging at Forbidden Door is what people are saying.
Oh, because I'd heard some people insinuate that he might challenge him on the Soul Tour. That's why I was swayed to think like, oh, they might be doing that baseball stadium.
Yeah, no, I think most people I've heard are predicting Naito Mox at Forbidden Door rematch. Naito wins the belt back.
Well, you're clearly listening to better people than I am, so carry on.
But yeah, I think Desperado is winning this.
You could do either guy, really, but I wouldn't see why you wouldn't go with El Desperado. I think it's long overdue that he should have already won one of these. And if not now, then when? What's the point? You know what I mean? He's like your premier guy in the division, so you should go with him. The one thing with it not being Hiromu is he probably should have beat Hiromu in one of these matches, but I guess it's okay because he already beat Hiromu at Wrestle Kingdom anyway. So
yeah,
I don't know, but the match, both of these guys have really been turning it up in the tournament for these big main events, these last couple nights, and given the stage and, the eyes that will be watching, I think that this is going to be like something really spectacular, probably.
Yeah. I think that they're going to recognize the big, opportunity and stage that they have. I think they're going to go out there and kill it. And like I was saying, when you were gone for a second, I feel like it's kind of weird to have Despy lose when he has this big pay-per-view the next day and you're trying to sell buys. Like, I think you don't want like the Super Junior, champion to add that to his name to help people kind of draw in to buy that show.
That's true, but they could also use that show to rehab him the next day after a loss.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, you're probably right.
Then we had a few other questions here. Death Triangle 720 says, outside of the Shingo Hanare match, is there anything on the Dominion card that stands out?
I think it's a strong card. I mean, Jeff Cobb and Tomohiro Ishii is probably going to be really, really good. I like the gimmick between Uemura and Great Khan much more than I did their previous outing. Ishimori and Desperado should, given the historic nature of the match, should really, really, really deliver. And I like 4-way dances with the elimination style rules. So I think it's a strong card.
Yeah, I think it's a strong card. And as of this recording, this is not the full card. There's still going to be probably a few more matches announced. Also, Naito's not on here, so I don't know if they're going to add more bigger matches at this point. But I know they teased, I think Naito and Finlay, they kind of teased that Resurgence for the global title. They teased Robbie Eagles and Kosei Vegeta challenging the War Dog. So there's other stuff that's coming too that I think is going to help make this card stronger as well. Death Triangle also asks, does it seem like a waste not having Naito have a singles match at Dominion this year?
For who? For what? The fuck I want to see Naito wrestle a singles match again for?
Man's got to keep his knees strong if he's going to America.
This is not 2016. This is 2024. This is not the same dude. What are we talking about? The fuck I want to see Naito wrestle for? Who do I want to watch him wrestle?
You don't watch him wrestle Finlay?
No.
What about Sonata? He's back from injury.
Nope.
They could do the Callum Newman match.
If it's not Will Ospreay or Kenny Omega, I don't want to see it. Callum Newman is awesome. Callum, there was a fucking one of those undercard matches. He did a triangle moonsault off of the second rope, and I was like, he's fucking incredible.
Yeah, I hope he is in G1 this year because that's gonna be great,
bro. My dream tag team is like Callum Newman and Oleg.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
throws and flips. Then Reddit user Ebby91, do you think they will announce who was in the G1 at Dominion?
They usually do, so probably.
Yeah, I would expect a G1, some kind of G1 announcement at Dominion.
Next day, June 10th, we've got the Despe Invitational. We do not know who's involved in that, but it's on pay-per-view the next day, and hopefully it's a good show.
Yeah, buy it. Before we jump into news, speaking of Dominion, last week I did drop the first episode of the Dominion Deep Dive, a series I'm doing on the Keepin' It Strong Style Patreon, where I review every Dominion main event. So the first match was Tanahashi versus Nakanishi, so that's up on the Patreon for $5 and $10 subscribers. I also put up a little free preview up on the Keepin' It Strong Style feed, so you can check that out, the free preview, and then check out the series, subscribe, and getting good feedback on the series so far. Getting ready to record episode 2, which is going to be Togi Makabe versus Go Shiozaki for the IWGP title. So check out the Dominion Deep Dive on the Patreon, patreon.com/KI Strong Style.
Yeah, and let me just say, I got a chance to, number one, before I even go into that, I listened to the first episode the first week of your weekly news breaks, right? And I thought it was really good. And then I got busy with work and I never listened to another one. And then this past week, I was like, you know what? Let me jump into those. And I was, going through all of them. And I was like, oh, it makes so much more sense why the news is so short lately, because there's all these things going on that I think that like are, and then I'm remembering like a week, like half the week will pass, and I'm like, fuck, we didn't talk about what was going on in Noah with Oiwa. Like, why we're slacking, dude. and then once I listen to these news updates, I'm like, oh, Jeremy's already covering this stuff during the news updates and killing it and doing an incredible job. So much so I reached out to Jeremy this week. I'm like, bro, you got to take a bigger cut of the fucking Patreon money's coming in. Like, I'm doing my part, doing half of the show, but you're doing extra content. I'm not. Like, this is not fair. Like, you need to take some more money. But I listened to the first episode of the Dominion Deep Dive, and if you guys are not, and what tier do they need to be on to get this?
5 or 10.
Okay, so you guys should do the $10 tier, but for just $5 a month, you're getting probably, I mean, definitely, like, beyond a shadow of a doubt, the most in-depth and knowledgeable and detail-oriented recollection of the main events of the Dominion series. Like, this is premium quality, and I'm not just saying because like I'm self-interested because we're making money off of it. I'm literally saying it because it's actually really fucking good. And if you guys haven't heard it, go out of your way, check it out. You're not going to regret it, honestly.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Awesome. Well, let's jump into the news. So, first topic here from the Wrestling Observer newsletter. You know, Jeremy, we should probably stop. We should become one of those podcasts that buries them, because people are making a lot of fucking money off that. You know, but anyways, New Japan World subscriptions are now at 100,000 subscriptions. This is way down from nearly the 140,000 at the time of the January 4th, 2023 Tokyo Dome show with Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega. And it's the same level as the January 2018 numbers they had 6.5 years ago when Omega and Jericho faced each other at the Tokyo Dome, when they brought in that, 60,000 to 100,000 surplus. So not great. It's not an encouraging number, essentially. Second news item, Jon Moxley defeated our good friend Rocky Romero in an IWGP Eliminator match. A lot of discourse about this. People upset one way or the other. I got to tell you, Jeremy, I don't hate the idea of the Eliminator match in AEW, but the terminology is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Because it's not an eliminator. An eliminator in regular sports, in combat sports, an eliminator match is when you take the number 1 contender and the number 2 contender and they fight each other, and one of them gets eliminated from contention to be the champion, to face the champion. Mm-hmm. In this match, it's just someone who's completely not qualified or ranked to be champion or to be a championship contender getting an opportunity, if they win a non-title match, to potentially get a return match against the champion if they win. They should just call this shit non-title matches.
Yeah, well, I feel like now they're kind of playing fast and loose and like, what's an eliminator, what's not eliminator, what's a non-title match? Because it used to be like every match against the champion is a quote-unquote eliminator, and now like Swerve faced Luchasaurus last week, and it was just a non-title match. They didn't brand it as an eliminator.
They shouldn't use the branding eliminator in the first place, because it doesn't logically make sense. But if you want to do that gimmick where it's like someone who's unranked gets a shot, and if they win, they get another shot, they should just call it something else, honestly. But yeah, I saw the thing where JCast kind of got buried because they brought up the fact that Rocky Romero was like 1-11, and everyone was freaking out. I pretty much agreed with them. I was like, Rocky is 1-11, and they're like, it is non-title.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, Rocky's 1-11. He hasn't won a ton of matches on AEW TV. He's a junior in New Japan. Like, there's no way this guy would be challenging for the world title in Japan. Also, we love Rocky, but like he's not challenging for the world title if it was in a New Japan environment.
Here's what I don't like about it personally. I don't like the eliminator gimmick being something, and within the context of it being a AEW thing, that's fine. You know, it's part of their product. But the IWGP title is never decided via eliminator match. Like that's literally a construct within AEW's kayfabe. But they're booking eliminator matches for the IWGP title because it's on their TV and they can do that. And that's what their audience is used to. But I don't know, that to me, that's like instituting a 10 count for IWGP title matches or giving it like a 20-minute time limit, because it's like, well, that doesn't, did the IWGP committee approve this eliminator title match? Like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's stupid to me. But yeah, was that match even, was it good?
Yeah, it was fine. Obviously Rocky worked over the arm. But I mean, it was a fine match. Obviously Moxley ends up winning with a Death Rider. But yeah, it is what it was. Also, it's what you expect. If you close your eyes and imagine a Mox Rocky match that got like 15 minutes, it's what it was.
I could imagine a really good match between those guys that probably rules, actually.
Yeah.
What's Oiwa's first name?
Rihoi.
I don't know.
Rihoi, I think.
Ryohei Oiwa will be entering the N1 victory. We got a question here from Death Triangle 720 who says, with Oiwa being in the N1, do you think we'll see him return for the G1?
Return after the G1, he said.
Oh, after the G1, sorry. And I have to say, probably.
I think it'd be good. I've been seeing people speculate about him winning the N1 and going on a challenge Kiyomiya, since he has that whole storyline going right now. I think it'd be kind of, I mean, I would love that, but I don't know if no one would want to put, have a New Japan guy win a New Japan like Young Lion win their tournament.
Yeah, I'd be kind of surprised by that, but we'll see. But yeah, I think he's not long for the Noah world. He'll probably be coming back soon.
Yeah.
And then the last bit of news here, Satoshi Kojima retained the MLW title against Filthy Tom Lawler this past Saturday at MLW Riot 4, and they did award him a new version of the world title over there, which I like the old title belt better than the one they gave him.
Yeah, I also was a fan of the original belt, but yeah, they made a new belt. Kojima just racking up these defenses. They're coming back to Tampa in July. Mystico is going to be on the show. We might have to go back to some ML Dub.
Hit up Scott. Or not Scott. What's
Sean.
Yeah, hit up Sean.
Yeah, we can get some credentials for that.
Yep.
All right, well, we got a couple questions here, and then we'll wrap things up. Death Triangle 720 says, hypothetically, let's say Tsuji or Yota have a match against Okada at Forbidden Door 3. How would you book that match?
And new Continental Champion.
Yeah, I mean, if I had the book, I'm like, you've been escaping these jobs.
I would do a 1986, Ric Flair special where they go to a double count out. Is what I would do.
Nah, we're doing the New Jersey screw job. We're gonna have Tsuji put this man in a hold, and
Wait, what?
Well, the show's in New Jersey, so I'm saying, do a.
Oh, so he doesn't actually tap, and they just.
Yeah, you have Gato out there. We're not.
It's not in Jersey though. It's in. It's at the UBS Arena. It's in Long Island.
That's what. Yeah, same area.
It's a whole different state.
Northern screw job. So I've Gato run out.
Northern, as if Canada's not northern. Oh man.
Then Barry Walsh with two questions. He said, with Eddie Thorpe being less than F all on NXT, do you think had Carl stayed in New Japan, he might have been the leader of the new Bull Club or lead a heel faction with the rest of the LA Dojo, or is it impossible to tell?
It only if like the people that run New Japan were on crack at that point. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I think, I don't know if he would have led the Bullet Club, but there was that whole rumor that all the LA Dojo guys were joining Bullet Club, and we do see now that Clark and Alex Coughlin was in there, Gabe Kidd was in there, so I think it was plausible that Carl Fredericks also would have been a War Dog as well.
Oh, bro. Oh my God, this is so embarrassing. I thought they were talking about Carl Anderson.
Oh.
I was like, why the fuck would he be leading Bullet Club? Or any group for that matter.
No.
Because he didn't say Carl Fredericks.
But he
just
said Eddie Thorpe, though. He's talking about.
Bro, I don't know who the fuck Eddie Thorpe is.
That's Carl's NXT name.
Dude, you know who I thought Eddie Thorpe was? I thought he was the dude from NXT that just jumped to or from AEW that just jumped to NXT. What's his name?
Ethan Page?
Yeah, I thought Eddie Thorpe was Eddie Thorpe was just like Ethan Page's NXT name.
No, he's still Ethan Page right now.
All right. That's why I was, bro, this question got away from me entirely.
His last question, he says, I know you guys don't follow Noah, and it's always had the reputation of being a retirement home, but over the last year, that has really updated their roster, young talent. Most of the good-looking guys, Dragon Bane, Alpha Wolf, Daga, Ida, and a lot of top and upcoming talent. Is there possibly a concern if New Japan holds off much longer in pushing the younger guys that New Japan could get a reputation of being better for older guys, and you get talent might go elsewhere like Noah, who has a bit of a revolution going on with the new and daily overseas talent despite the yen issues? Not a worry for the immediate, but could a concern be brewing?
I doubt it, just because of the market cap that New Japan has in general. Granted, obviously Noah's got a much larger parent company in Cyber Agent. I still just don't see that being the case, but there is no denying. I mean, a lot of people are singing the praises of Noah recently this year and the work that they're doing and kind of revitalizing that company. So good on them. Glad for them to have that. But I don't see a situation where like New Japan is viewed as a place where only old guys work and then people want to go to Noah as like they're going to go wherever they can get paid the most. And in Japan right now with the state of the economy, it's just New Japan. Like that's where it is, period.
Yeah, and we got some attendance numbers. Dr. Lariat in our Discord has a friend who's been keeping track of attendance in Japan throughout promotions. And so for 2024, I mean, New Japan's on top, 125,746. Number 2 is Dragon Gate. Number 3 is Stardom. And then 4 is Noah at 29,270. So they're not even the top drawing. They're in the top 4, but Dragon Gate's drawing more than them. And I know they run more events, but again, like who's going to pay guys more money and where they're going to get used more? Well, that is the last question there, and that's going to wrap things up. We're still holding on recommended match of the week.
It's up to you, man. If you do one, I'll do one. But if you want to let it ride another week, we can do that. I mean,
well, at this point, it's like pretty much dead.
We take breaks during tournaments.
Sometimes, yeah. Well, I mean, Dominion. So we got Dominion and the Despy Invitational.
Yep.
So we got 2 shows. I don't know.
2 big shows, bro.
All right, let's hold it off.
Gonna take a lot of time to cover those 2 shows. I don't know if we have time to fit in a recommended match of the week. All
right. We'll hold it off.
You got to do a deep dive this week.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
You got to do a story.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap things up here.
Gotta put in an order for a new camera for me.
No, I'll send you the money. You order your own camera.
Really? Well, I mean, you've got Prime. Just order it for just take it out of the account.
All right, we'll talk about it. But yeah, that's going to wrap things up. Next week, we'll be back to review Dominion and the Despy Invitational. And remember, if you want to watch our show live or without ads, you can sign up at patreon.com/KIStrongstyle. Yeah, I think next week we're going to open it up, the live stream to everybody, so you guys can get a little bit taste of what you get here with the live video stream. But if you want to be on the stream every week, you can get on that $10 tier. Or if you want ad-free audio, you want Dominion Deep Dive, some of the other bonus audio, you're going to want to get on the Patreon, patreon.com/KIStrongstyle. You can also donate to the show by going to socialsuplex.com/donate and click on the donate button under the Keeping It Strong Style logo. Make sure you connect with us on social media on X. Follow us at KIStrongstyle, at Social Suplex, and at Jeremy L. Donovan. On Facebook, follow us at facebook.com/Social Suplex and the Wrestling Squared Circle Facebook group. On Reddit, I'm the Pro Black Guy, just Keeping It Strong Style. On YouTube, we're at Social Suplex. Join our Social Suplex Discord server to interact with us and other wrestling fans. And you can email me, Jeremy, at socialsuplex.com. Check out all the other shows that we have here on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. One Nation Radio, hosted by Rich Latta and James Boyd. All Things Elite, hosted by Floyd and Austin. Imps WWE Adventure with the Implications, Matthew Mayer. Wrestling Art with Chris Things. Tunnel Talk with Ali and Leah, and the Trish and Sarah Wrestling Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a rating and review, and we will catch you next week on Keeping It Strong Style, the ace of podcasts.
Ichiban.
Thank you for listening to Keepin' It Strong Style. We'll see you next time.
Baseball fans, BetMGM is giving you the chance to win a prize every day during the baseball season. Step into the batter's box for BetMGM Swing for the Fences free-to-play game. Pick any area of the strike zone and take your best swing. If you get a single, double, triple, or home run, you'll receive a prize. Smash a home run to collect a bonus bet on us. Just log into your BetMGM Sports account to get started. Then visit your promotions section to access the Swing for the Fences free-to-play game. You'll score a prize if you hit a single, double, triple, or home run. There's nothing more exciting than going yard, so swing for the fences with the king of sportsbooks. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only, Iowa only. Existing customer offers, subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary depending on market and expire 24 hours from issuance. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.